America, with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.
Welcome one, welcome two, welcome three, welcome all. How are you doing? Welcome back. Well, I should say welcome me back. Took a day off yesterday. If you know why, then you know why. Once wet, always wet. Talk to me nicely indeed off the top of the show. But happy November 2nd. Happy Thursday. Just past 3 p.m. here. So happy afternoon from El Paso, Texas. Hope you were too blessed to be stressed as I am. Yesterday was my birthday, so it was so great. So great to just reflect on the things I'm thankful for. So anytime you can get the chance to do that, I highly recommend it. But how you doing? Welcome in episode number 85 here of the Untitled series here on United Spurs of America. I have a debutante. I don't know what way you want me to say the word, but we got a guy. I've streamed with him before a few times. If you've been around the park or twice, 3 times or so, you know who it is. But I will bring him on shortly. No spoilers either. I didn't tag anybody. I didn't tweet about nobody. So no spoilers, because you know how life is. I don't want to ever put anything down that ain't nailed down, if you know what I mean. But anyway, there's a vote in the there's a poll and you can vote in it, is what I'm trying to say. We're going to work out the kinks of the show. Look, obviously I took a day off. I'm looking like I'm not used to doing this every day, but big ups to everybody who's here. Again, I just want to say thank you. If you are live or if you are on playback, pick up yourself right now. Again, anywhere in the world you could be, and you choose to be right here with United Spurs of America. So big up yourself right now. One time for that. And I want to say big up Roy. You get the 2 first place prizes. First place prize for being here and first place prize for first YouTube chat members. How you doing, Roy? Big up yourself. But the poll today, obviously, if you've heard anything of anything, you know my man CUTI, can't you see he's nominated once again? Well, not him once again, it's the first time for him, but the 3rd month in a row Tottenham Hotspur player has been nominated. We won it the past 2 times. Now manager of the month is another thing. I'm wondering if we can do the clean sweep. We pulled up to the academy, we took all the awards, you know what I'm saying? That's what I want to do. That's what I think we should do. If it's not a damn rigged system, shout out to Ballon d'Or. But I'm going to close the Ballon d'Or on that conversation, because I'm not here to talk about that Fugazi award show. I'm here to talk about Premier League Player of the Month, Manager of the Month. Obviously, we got Chelsea on Monday, but, I mean, all I can hear in my head right now is just T-Pain. Like, all I do is win, no matter what. And I don't want to, like, beat a horse over the head with the same stick, but if we just keep winning and the stick is a winning stick, then hey, may as well just stick to the remedy. But that's neither here nor there. We are live indeed. So I'm going to bring in the guest, but I just want to say big up to you, big up Talking Ball, and everyone who's here right now. I will get through the comments in just 1 second. But I have a debutante, so let me bring him out without further ado. Don't want him to wait too long in the back, but let's see how he's doing. We've got J rated R. How are you doing, Jay, my friend?
I'm good. I like that intro. I like that. The intro was popping. I wasn't ready for it. You know what I mean? The ad libs and the little being. I thought you were gonna say you were in love with a stripper when you went with T-Pain. I was.
That's a close second. Second.
Absolutely. And trying to deliver that kiss, kiss, bang, bang. You know. Yeah.
I know the kiss, kiss, bang.
I'm not. It's not as effortless. It's a bit clunky. Do you know what I mean? But we'll get there.
Yeah.
But thank you for having me.
Man, it's your first time here. I've seen you in different places. Sometimes, people, they either agree with you or they are really upset with what you have said. And I will say I am neither. I have agreed with you. I have agreed with you, and you have made me upset. So I guess I'm a little bit of both.
Yeah.
But how are you doing, man? Before we get cracking on with Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur in general, but how are you doing today? How are you?
I'm well, thank you. I'm good. I'm having those it's getting to the end of the year, so I run a business. So when you get to the end of the year, you start thinking about the business, and you start thinking about all those days that you spent arguing with strangers on Twitter, or all the work you didn't do. Started looking at so it's been a reflective day.
There you go.
There was a little bit of some new appointments as well, and I don't know if you saw the Gabonini interview yet.
I do have a bunch of quotes that, well, not a bunch, but I do have some things I want to touch on, and of course, get you.
I love a prepared man. Excellent.
You know, here's the hint here. It looks and sounds prepared, and it comes off prepared because, like, watch, as soon as I do something like this, they're gonna be like, "Oh man, this man thought about how he's gonna present it." Yeah.
My God.
You see, I don't want to give away too. Just lift it up the table skirt. You know what I mean? Just showed you what's underneath.
People like the sausage. They don't want to see how it's made.
Yeah. No, they don't. But what I will tell you is it's really simple. I just wake up and I, throughout the day, just look at what's circulating Twitter. I'm like, I'll bookmark that. That's something fancy to talk about. That's something
a simple procedure, a simple system, as it were.
Yeah, and then, some people that do tune in, they're like, I hate Twitter, I hate X, whatever you want to call it, it's a toxic space. Well, here, I'm just going to go ahead and pluck the most beautiful flowers from the nasty garden, and we can go ahead and talk about them and smell them and put them in our hair, whatever we want to do.
Like upside down reverse Venus flytrap. I mean, I could have just gone with a more nice flower, but yeah. Anyway, on we go. I'm with
it. Venus flytrap. Now, those are actually one of the most unique plants. I also like the ones that are like the bell bottom, that they have like the syrupy lip, and then the flies go into it.
I mean, was syrup the right word to use to describe?
Maybe not, but there is a sweet, sticky substance that they let off, and then the flies come over and they eat it, and then they close the lid on them. It's kind of fun. Plants are an interesting. I almost minored in botany.
That's I was going to say, are you a horticulturalist? Is that the right word? I feel like it's a word I picked up somewhere, and I think it's one of those words that you use in your life, and you think you know what it means, and eventually somebody will be like, "That's not what it means," and you'll be like, "Oh."
I think a horticulturalist, I think that's the appropriate way to say it. But for me, I was about to study it, and then I had one class that was kind of like an intro to it, and I was like, hang on, this isn't just gardening and shit.
Thank you. What is it apart from gardening?
It's way more scientific. It's way more intricate than I wanted to go. I was more
beyond the whole CO2 goes to oxygen.
Yeah, beyond that, it goes a step beyond that. And really, for me.
That's my limit. That's my limit.
I had a botany phase where I was, I had adopted all my mother's plants and I was doing good. I was keeping them alive, and I was like, hey, maybe I got the special touch, and so I was feeling some type of way. And then I was like, maybe I'll study it, and then I decided, no, hell no.
See, the thing is like maybe you're just one of those natural kind of guys. Like you're not a Ronaldo of plants. You're more of a Messi of plants. It's just it's natural. It's just. It is what it is. Like Mr. Greenfinger, I'll touch this. I'll touch that. Why is this side? What's going on over here?
Yeah, I like that. Yeah, get down and dirty in there. But needless to say, gardening aside, if I ever do have a lawn one day, it's just going to be a garden of different. I'm going to grow a bunch of shit and all the neighbors.
Will there be a lawn there, or will it just be like full of like things that you've grown?
There'll be like corn here. There'll be some. There'll be some tomatoes over here, some onions. We'll have bean stalks. It'll be the whole bit.
It reminds you of like corn, like out of every plant and anything you can grow, it'd be like corn. Like corn is like
because corn goes in everything. Corn works with it works in all facets of life. Some would say it sustained a nation.
Absolutely. Those are saying. And I mean, in the US,
my wife makes fun of me for my love of corn as well. That's interesting.
Well, I mean, it's like the fact I picked up on it is indicative that you do have a corn problem. Like, I'm not. Like, listen,
there's a lot of dishes it goes with, and there's not a lot that it doesn't. I'll put it that way.
Like, it goes with chicken. Like, chicken with corn.
Yeah, there's no form of chicken that you can make that doesn't work, even in the Mexican culture, because there's this like chicken with red sauce that they make with rice and potatoes, and you just put some corn in that, boom, next level. Enchiladas, green, boom, next. It literally elevates. This
is like your version. This is like your version of salt.
Yeah, exactly. Just sprinkle some corn on that thing. Yeah.
Okay.
But hey, we're here to talk about Tottenham Hotspur. I could talk about this all day, honestly.
I know. Listen, I didn't know I knew so much about corn, but I think you're just bringing out the sweeter side of me. You see what I mean? Corn sweet. Like, yeah.
Well, it is also in like the main ingredient to a lot of cereals as well, and a lot of breakfast meals.
Okay.
But needless to say, corn aside, how are you just in general? Look, There may not be people who've seen you on other channels, so anyone who's tuning into this channel who doesn't know your stance on where we are, I'm just going to throw this first one at you because I really the best way to start really getting after it is just swimming in the pool. So let's get in there and let's start swimming. Tottenham Hotspur, undefeated, top of the league. Is it luck? Is it chance? Is it a bit of both? Where you stand?
I think personally, I want to say there's a lot of skill involved. I probably give the club more credit than a lot of people do, because I'm one of these people. I don't think things just happen. They just like spring out of thin air. So whilst I was critical of the board for certain decisions, I was looking at stuff that they'd done in the last couple of years, like the infrastructure, the kind of signings they were making. And one big thing for me was Mikey Moore and a couple of the academy people signing. So that to me indicated, okay, these people can see.
And we pulled one from Chelsea around that time as well.
So what are they seeing when they come into, when they're speaking to people in the club and around the club? What are they seeing that's making them say, okay, I want to be here? The player profiles were good. So, you know, this was one of the first windows. And for me, I looked at this window and I saw we improved the first team. So I was confident. I was optimistic, confident. We've been somewhat lucky with injuries. Like it's almost like, and I love Ivan, but it's like if you were gonna give someone an ACL, out of all our players, and say it's gonna nearly impact the first team, but it's not gonna be a first team player specifically. He's probably, and he's out of contract at the end of the season, so the drop off that he gets, like from that, Solomon out for 2 months. Okay, he's a backup winger. Okay, it's like with Maddison when he hyperextended his leg against Arsenal and it looked bad. It didn't get. So I feel like there's been moments as well in games like Brentford missing an open net just before half time, United missing chances, Liverpool disallowed goal and stuff. You can't disregard the luck. But I will say one thing, is I remember the Leicester season, I was watching Leicester thinking, how are they getting away with this? Like, what sort of, and I don't think we're remotely near that level of luck. But I did see Bayern lose yesterday. And I said to myself, you know what, if football is scripted,
talk to me.
Then Spurs win a trophy this season and Kane doesn't.
Oh, my Lord.
That's when I'm watching them lose to third division German side, you can't help but think it. You can't help but think, you know what? Maybe he was the albatross around our neck. Maybe the quintessential rhyme of the ancient mariner. Hold on, am I showing my age there? Yeah, maybe he is the albatross around our neck. And maybe those 30 goals he was scoring, they were not helping us. They were truly hindering us from finding our true version. It's like we were a hot guy in college, but we were a bit of a fat nerd to start off with. Mm-hmm. So it's like, we had to.
Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me.
Exactly.
Shout out Mike Jones.
Now, how you like me now?
Yeah. Anyone who didn't get that reference, that is a H-Town specific reference. Mike Jones was a very popular rapper when there was a certain genre of rap that was very popular. But I love that line. Back then, hoes didn't want me. Now I'm hot, hoes all on me. It's the same thing. Tottenham Hotspur, a lot of people starting to talk a little bit nicer to us. And this is something I've been requesting since the summer. Just said it's time to talk to us a little bit different. Now it's time to talk to us nicely. Speaking of talking nicely, I have a special treat. This is going to be a great conversation. Jay, I don't know if you've met this gentleman, but I have right now, I think, to be the freshest looking Tottenham Hotspur fan that I know in the Southern Hemisphere. So I'm going to go ahead and bring him on.
I would have washed my face if I knew this was coming, but fair enough.
Oh, you wouldn't wash your face for me. I see where.
No, I looked at the time and I was like,
hey, no worries. But we're going to bring him out right. Let's see how the layout goes. Hey.
Oh, delightful.
What's up, hoes?
Hello.
That is genuinely the nicest thing someone said to me today. You know, I am not.
I was just enjoying your Curse of Cain talk there.
Hey, listen, what? Hey, listen, I'm a good Christian man, and I just think, yeah, sometimes if you're cursed, you're cursed. Yeah, Harry Kane at Tottenham, maybe this guy's just cursed, and it is what it is. Like, the more it happens, how can Spurs be top and Bayern not be top and be knocked out? Didn't win the Super Cup when he joined. Didn't win the first cup competition. It's loading. It's like, I am a natural optimist, but you can't tell me that 2 + 2 doesn't equal 5. You can't tell me that that's not math. That is modern mathematics, my friends.
Speaking of modern mathematics, real quick, I want to say shout out to Carefree Lewis. He just gave us a raid. I was like, there was about 30 people watching, and all of a sudden there's about 130 people watching. So shout out everyone who came on over from the Carefree Lewis raid. Hey, Lewis, if you're listening right now, I'm waiting for that link up, my friend. I would like to hear your thoughts on Monday. Obviously, Chelsea coming up, so all rivals are welcome. Obviously, even before the raid, we had Liverpool fans in here. Bejan Reds, good friend of the channel here, so a lot of love in the chat. But big up Lewis for the raid. Big up everyone who did come on over. You're here for a short time. Go ahead and hit that like. Paul, I think I'm getting a little bit of an echo from your mic. I don't know if it's your phone. Yeah, I don't know. But you look great. And I'm going to put that out there. The iridescent logo, for anyone who doesn't know, Paul, in the summer, he's a flip-flop now. In the summer, he was giving me a lot of shit because I was going on and on about how excited I was for the iridescent logo to be on our shirt. And how now we're going to have a line of trainers that were coming over from the iridescent logo. I was super excited. And Paul's like, oh, you kids, you like it.
No, it wasn't. Where's the evidence? Show me the receipts. This is the internet. You're never wrong on the internet. You can never say you're wrong. No, you're right, man. I thought the iridescent logo was a right bag of old cack, but now I've got one on my chest. Oh, it's gorgeous. Good. Oh, yeah. I'm so wrong. I'm an idiot. I love it. I love it.
I love it too. Honestly, I was really excited that it was happening in the first place. But it's fun now to see you wearing it. It looks even better. I like the hat too as well. I don't know if that was a package deal, but big up everyone who's here. Look, I had just introductorily, well, we did talk about botany and herbiculture and stuff at the beginning of the show, randomly enough. But let's talk about things. Look, I believe there to be some Chelsea fans in the house. I think it would be right. Let's talk about Chelsea, and then we'll move on to the chat, the things that I had planned for in regards to, hey, Paul, I don't know if you know, but we're up for Player of the Month again. We're up for Manager of the Month again. Could we do the 3-peat? I don't know. Are we the Golden State Warriors of Premier League monthly awards? I don't know. We might be.
It's getting boring now. I've plugged some headphones in, so you shouldn't have an echo now. Is that right, Jacob?
No, it sounds good. Right? Yeah.
Okay, great.
I want to ask you, gentlemen, a question, because we have got some Chelsea fans here now, and I'm curious. Do Chelsea scare you? And scare might be the wrong word. I want to say scare. Like, you can walk around the corner, and someone can be like, "Ugh," and you're like, "Woo." It's like, that's like, you know what I mean? It's like, that's spooky. I'm not scared.
That's more of like a spooky, I would say. I'd say you walk down the street, someone does that, they spook. What I would say about Chelsea right now is they were worrying me before I saw what happened in the Premier League. I would say, because I was like, okay, they're starting to pick up some steam. I feel like with Chelsea, I can look at them a little bit more non-biased than I can with Arsenal. Arsenal is just, when I see red, I see red. Shout out Chevelle. I'm just saying, that's just all I can see is red, and all I think of is nasty thoughts, and all I can do is make comparisons from Rice to Højbjerg because it makes me feel good inside. So, but with Chelsea, I feel like I can look at them with a little bit more of, okay, balance here. Obviously, Maurizio Pochettino is there. Some people say we need to give him respect. Some people say we shouldn't boo him when he comes to town.
Would you boo him? Would you like? How do you feel? Like, because the way I look at it is, listen, he's with these things. Whether you want Poch back, whether you're gonna boo him, blah blah. The thing is even if you're neutral, what's gonna happen is something will happen in the game, and Poch will complain or Poch will moan, and the crowd will just switch. Yeah, and it doesn't matter, like, however you look at it, that moment will happen. At a certain point in the game, he will complain about something, or he'll disagree with something, or he'll get into something. And at that moment, the whole fan base were just, that's it. I saw it when Mourinho went back, when Conte goes back to Chelsea and stuff like that. It doesn't really matter. As soon as you're in the game state, all it takes is one little decision, and then like the touch paper.
For me, with Pochettino coming to town, I see it. I think Paul and I talked about a little bit earlier in the week, and it was the most balanced take I could say that I can feel. It's, hey, thank you for the memories, but when you come to town, you are coming to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium to end the streak that we are on. You are coming to dismantle what Ange Postecoglou is building. So with that in mind, you're my enemy. I don't give a shit about the memories. It's sword time. It's cutting time. When it comes down to it, like, I got to fight for mines. And mines right now is a men down under, and I ain't talking Paul Baby. All right? So when it comes to Pochettino, it's like, hey, bro, much love, but... I'm cutting. Yeah, I see you on the battlefield. I see you on the battlefield, son. Especially Paul and I were talking about. Imagine he's wearing some clean suit, right? Clean dressed Pochettino, all black, like just like we like, you know, the beautiful suit that he will wear. But it's got a stupid ass Chelsea logo right there, and he go around when they score. You know what I'm saying? Then does our tones change? Because for me, it would a little bit at least. If I mean, I don't wish him bad, except for when you come to town. Like Paul and I said, you are here to beat Tottenham Hotspur, and that just doesn't fly with me. At the end of the day, that's kind of the most simplistic, balanced approach I think I can give it. What about you, Paul?
See, for me, you see, my brain hasn't matured or changed since I was about 10. So to me, Chelsea are a crappy, rubbish, second division side, as it used to be, championship side. This whole rivalry between Spurs and Chelsea is something I think Chelsea's concocted. They want to be our rivals. They're dying to have some sort of exciting glamour fixture. Well, Chelsea, you've got your derbies. It's with Fulham and Brentford. That's it. That's it. So I'm not scared of Chelsea because I don't see them as anywhere near our equal. They were bang average, and then I don't know quite what happened. But something mysterious happening around about the year 2000 when they started having money. I can't remember quite what happened there. And now that has all gone, and they've got, hey, Mr. Todd Bowley, let's go play ball. Let's go play ball. Touchdown. They're going to be shit again. And I think they're going to go
admittedly,
down.
that might be your best American accent I think you've done here on the channel. Typically, when you try and do it differently, hey, that was good, Paul. You're doing better. I don't know if you've been rehearsing in front of the mirror. You've been, listening to some JFK speeches. I don't know. Maybe that helps you. I do declare.
That's not what can they do for your country.
Yeah, exactly.
Not so good. That one, not so good.
That was no, it wasn't as good. I think it was better when you tried to do it. Yeah, that's one of those. Yeah, but it's okay. Blue London. Yes, we are all three Spurs fans. You can't see the full screen because, well, I guess the layout. Look, I'm on this free version of StreamYard. So
yeah, man. You know what I mean? You guys, they'll have to boost the donations to the channel before we start upgrading. Do you know what I mean? Like, hey. we're on the freemium trial at the moment. Please don't be asking.
And while we're talking about it, go ahead and hit the likes. That's absolutely free. Yeah, I got the stupid ass StreamYard logo on the screen. But go ahead, hit the likes up so we can get rid of the stupid duck. I need a campaign. Hit the likes up so we can get rid of the duck, y'all. Come on. This video, come on, we need to keep getting up over them likes. So hit it one time for the one time. If not, it's totally optional. I say on this channel, nothing is obligatory except for immaculate vibes. And then participate in the chat if you want to. There's also a poll with only 45 votes in it, and there's 47 likes, which is usually there's 30 people who vote that don't like the video. So that's actually a good ratio in all terms and when you consider it. So big up to everybody who is participating in that. Big up Cream as well. Everyone in the chat. I know I missed somebody. Rowan Kumar is here. Spurs GCTV, how you doing? Again, big up everybody over there from the Lewis raid. Working on trying to get him to come on over to the channel. Joe Hong, Chewy is actually here. He is here in attendance. Here, I'll make it big one time so you can see him. There he is. There's proof. He is still here. He is still part of the channel. But don't worry, he he actually showed up for work today. He's been taking the day. It's because the route to get to the studio is the same route that I had to throw him out on the patio once because he was pee-peeing everywhere. So now he thinks I'm trying to throw him on the patio every time I'm trying to get him to come in the studio. It's a whole thing. But anyway, I digress. Big up Steve D as well. Big up. Thanks for showing some love. Yeah, a lot of people are on right now, but don't worry. If you're not here or if you're watching this very
we're floating about. We're floating. It's like changing the channel, isn't it? It's like,
yeah,
you know,
just different programs for different strokes for different folks. You know what I'm saying? Big up H Talks as well. Big up. This is Big Game Monday. Absolutely, indeed. Look, when it comes to Monday, there's a certain way that I believe Chelsea to set up. Now, I have been working on trying to get some Chelsea reps onto the channel so I can hear it straight from the horse's mouth. You know what I mean? What they're going to line up like. But if my amateur mind can put together, based on what I've seen, what does that say?
I'm just simulate not having a duck there.
Oh, thank you for that. There you go. The duck is, unfortunately, the duck like is layered on top of everything. So even still, but big. Hey, I like the effort. You know what I mean? I think that's what we're all about here at Tottenham Hotspur. You gotta give effort. Speaking of giving effort, look, Monday, I think Chelsea's strongest suit would be not Raheem Sterling through the middle. Do y'all think Nicholas Jackson or Raheem Sterling through the middle would pose a bigger threat to Tottenham Hotspur defense?
I personally, like, you got to understand as well, we know Poch. That's the one thing we can tap into when we're thinking about how he's going to set up. And the one thing we all know as Spurs fans is that Poch doesn't like making the hard decisions when it comes to selections. Yeah. And he'll invariably, you know, some of the things, Champions League final, FA Cup semi-final against Man United, he'll overcomplicate things sometimes. Now, we're looking at this team now. Realistically, Gallagher has to start for them. Yeah? But so that means that Jackson can't start. He's also not in form. So we can kind of see the team being kind of Gallagher, Palmer maybe playing false nine, Sterling off the right, Mudryk if he's fit, and then like a Gallagher, Caicedo, Enzo midfield. And I think that's their best chance to try and beat us. Like somebody says that our midfield will dominate. You won't. You won't, because quite simply, Spurs in open play are statistically almost the best team in the league. Like you're basically saying that in open play, in terms of progressing the ball, getting through them, there's nothing that Chelsea have shown me that makes me think that we should be remotely worried about Chelsea. Like they're 10th, higher or lower? So they says
I don't know. I'll look. I think they're 11th. I'm checking right now, so I'll tell you.
If Chelsea, if we beat Chelsea, they are 17 points behind us.
They're 11th.
They're 17 points behind us. That's it. Put them in the ground. We're done with them. Stick a fork in them. Finito. Because we just don't give them an opportunity. They must win this game. Let's not get this twisted. Where they are and what they're doing, they must win this game. They should be looking at this game like, how can we win? Not how do we leave without not getting a defeat. It's how do we win this game? Yeah. And to me, they keep saying, well, you know, we play better in bigger games. They didn't beat Liverpool. They didn't beat West Ham. They didn't beat Arsenal. So which of these games that they're playing so well in? Like, do you know what I mean? They're not winning. So for me, this is a big game for us. This is a big test. It's like when you have a team like Chelsea and we have the expectation, people are expecting us to win. Overconfident? We're not overconfident. We know you're a good side potentially when the stars align. But from our point of view, we're top of the league. Like, as in, it's first versus 11th. Let's play the game like that. It's first versus 11th. If we were playing Brentford at home, yeah, right now, nobody is here telling me that we're not winning that game. Nobody is here telling me we mustn't not win that game. What I'm saying is we're playing Chelsea at home, okay? Last season, we beat them 2-0. And when we weren't even in our best moment.
When we were crap.
Exactly. We were just less crap than them. And that's what we need to do on Monday. At the very worst, just be less crap than Chelsea, because they will give us the opportunity to win the game. Like, if we play a game with no mistakes, we win the game, because they are likely to make mistakes. They've proven it this season that they will make mistakes in this game. So, to me, like, it's just.
I think if I want to be balanced here, I think that we will also offer mistakes and chances for them to get in behind. We've shown that in every match that it's just a matter of when will the rivals, or when will our opposition capitalize on the mistakes and the errors that we do. And Crystal Palace almost did a few times on Pedro Porro's mistakes. And that was one of those holes for Tottenham Hotspur where I'm like, look, I thought we were slowly progressing there. And then I feel like we took a few steps back versus Palace. Now, admittedly, Palace at the time going into that match, they had the most successful tackles in the Premier League. It was the most physical, dominating side that we had gone up against at that point. You could tell from the first few minutes they had fouled Van de Ven twice very hard. Both of them could have injured him. Then they fouled Madison. They were very, very rough, and the ref was kind of letting them play. And look, I'm kind of glad that happened, because it kind of, hey, welcome to the league, Mickey Van de Ven. No one's really been this physical with you to this juncture, and I thought that that's a good test for a young cub to learn how to wade through the waters in the jungle. But
you know, I was speaking to a mate of mine last who regularly goes to games, and he said the best thing would be we're 4-0 up with 5 minutes to go, and then the whole crowd sings "He's magic, you know."
Look, we did briefly touch on the whole like boo him, cheer him, etc. And I was very simplistic with, look, you're the enemy when you come to town. I appreciate the memories, all the good times, but right now, you're not on my team. You're not on my side, so I got to go against you. And I think that that's a very natural and very respectable approach. Like, I don't want to disrespect the guy, but at the end of the day, what do I do to any other manager that comes to Tottenham Hotspur Stadium? If I boo them, then I will keep that same energy. If I don't, then I don't. Look, there's different strokes for different folks. Some people don't like to boo in general. For me, I'm the kind of guy, if you come to my house and I don't want you to win, I'm going to make it toxic. Even if I'm playing you in a video game and you're in my house, I'm going to make it toxic. You want a glass of water? Hey, you got to get this dub first. You know what I mean? Dehydrate my opponent, sweat them out, turn the AC off. You know what I'm saying? I want to win. That's all that really matters, is 3 points at the end of the day, not Pochettino's feelings. So I don't really give a shit if someone boos him and it hurts him. I don't really care if someone's like, oh, you shouldn't boo or you should boo. I don't really care. I care about 3 points. That's all I care about.
Listen,
I like the likes of, like, you know, because Mickey Van de Ven's a big guy, maybe Romero, just to block up the visitors' dressing rooms, toilets with a few big jobbies, you know, just to, you know, any advantage, all dark arts, man.
Oh, the water got turned off in your locker room. My bad. Oh, whoops. Well, sorry about that.
But you boys, like, some of the comments are coming in, and listen, I don't want people to think I'm underestimating Chelsea. They have very good players. It's not clicked. It's gonna click one day, yeah, but not on us. Like,
that's what I was kind of saying earlier, Jay, and I want you to elaborate on that, because I was kind of saying that, like, look, they were starting to, I think it was 3 wins in a row, something like that, and I was like, okay, they are coming to the lane. It's Pochettino. Are they starting to? Because at some point, I did predict them to be up in and around the top 5, top 6 area. You know what I'm saying? I did predict that, because I said they've spent the money. They've got a guy who can get a tune out of players. I've seen it with my own eyes. So, like, naturally, it lends me to believe that he could be successful there. And it was just, it's not a moment of like if. I think with Pochettino and Chelsea getting on the right page, I think it's a matter of when. And that's just from my standpoint.
So you're not wrong, but I remember when I was watching Poch in, like, let's say 2017, 18 or whatever. And even when I was watching Spurs, I'd be watching Liverpool and I'd be thinking, they're really good, you know. Like, they weren't at the 2019 level yet, or how they get to in 2020 and whatever. But I'd be watching them and I'd be like, they're really good. And obviously that comes from the manager and the setup and the alignment of the scouting and data. But I also was thinking, Klopp's just is a higher level of manager than Poch. As simple as that, really. Like, he's a better manager. And the thing with someone like Poch is at no point in the league has he ever really been the best manager in the league. Yeah, even before Pep got there, even when there's been other managers, he's a very good coach, and he's very capable of developing the right club with the right profile. You give him the right amount of time and allow him to develop properly. My issue with Poch is when he came in this season, he was talking very spicy about, well, at Chelsea, we're here to win. At Chelsea, that's what we... And it pissed me off no end, because I was like, why are you acting brand new now? You never used to, you don't talk like that. You don't talk like your trophies build ego. That's what you said. That's your mentality. So you come to Chelsea now and you're saying, well, Chelsea, it's important we challenge for every trophy. No, what are you doing? Because you told me that trophies build egos, and now you're up in Chelsea. You're telling me, oh no, it's important to win every competition, and now you're telling me you don't know what success looks like for Chelsea this season. He's moving the goalposts a little bit. He's doing these kind of things, and I think he just needs to understand. He's saying some stuff about.
Well, Jay, we've reviewed the tape.
Yeah,
we've gone back. Paul and I did our detective work back when he was appointed, back when he was in that wooden lodge. We did the detective work, the CSI, Crime Scene Investigatory Services we provide here at United Spurs of America. We investigated. Now, our conclusive evidence, now it is conclusive.
Yes.
In his introductory press conference, when he said a lot of these things, he was handcuffed to that chair.
Yeah.
You can look at the photos. They had him in a skin-tight training suit, which for me, either that's Pochettino not willing to concede the fact that maybe he should go up a size. As a man, there's a juncture in your life when you got to start going up a size. And Pochettino, it was that time. But look, they're either trying to suffocate the lack of air and just keep him in one position. I've been convinced he's Agent Pochettino. Okay. I think that he's working him from the inside. He's playing just well enough to say there's hope. And then he's also, I think he's going to come to the lane. He's going to let us do what we need to do. That's what I'm saying. He's going to show up and he's going to say, here's the dish I brought, and I'm going to throw it all over the floor and say, this is what you're eating.
But one thing, Jacob, is that, like, as much as I want to say, like, I expect us to win, and I do, I expect us to win, the one thing that Chelsea fans, they little brother us. They son us. They're like, we're the team that never win and stuff like that. For our ex-manager to be in charge of their team, and I think Poch knows he cannot really afford to lose this game on Monday. Do you know what I mean?
Paul, do you think we could be? Paul, do you think we could be the club that if we go out there and put 4 on them? 4. I'm not saying that's going to happen. I think that's a little advantageous. Look, I'm not giving anything away on my predictions because obviously, if I show you the ending of the story, you're not going to read the book tomorrow in 2 days. So I'm not going to give away my prediction. But say in a hypothetical scenario, we go out there and put the work on them like Newcastle did to us last season, type of thing. And could we be the club that sees Pochettino get unseated at his current club?
I mean, it could be, and like you're saying, like Jay was saying earlier, sometimes there's stories in football that become apparent, and see, I wouldn't be booing Poch because he's gone to Chelsea and he's a traitor. I don't buy all that sort of stuff. He has to work somewhere, and it's only Chelsea and they're rubbish. But it could happen, couldn't it? If we bang 4 or 5 past them, and I'm keeping my powder less dry than you, I think we're going to smash them, man. Smash them. Bang average. It could be. It could be.
Heard it here first.
Bowley's got form, hasn't he? Bowley's got form when, hey, Phil, we're lost in a game. I think he could be gone by the end of next week. He banged out of the Carabao Cup. Lost to Brentford last week. But I think the problem that Poch has got is that deep down, Chelsea fans despise Tottenham Hotspur. They hate us. Yeah. There's story. I remember a story from I think it might have been Graham Roberts, one of our class defenders, who lifted the UEFA Cup for us in '84 because Steve Perryman was suspended. he was flogged off to Chelsea. You know, didn't really have much of a say in where they went to back day. And he said day one, he was in the Chelsea canteen, and the dinner lady smashed down the food in front of him. Said, "We don't like yids here." I think that's the mentality of Chelsea. I don't think they really like Pochettino in the first place. How can they? He was ex-Spurs. So it's all going against him, man. All going against him. And we could be that final nail in the coffin, you know?
I think it's early for the nail, because it's I get the logic is there.
But they did have 3 consecutive wins, right?
Yeah, but they've sacked 2 coaches. Like you have to. They also have to protect the concept of being Chelsea manager, because if you do sack Poch, you have to just run it for a period of time, because otherwise, any manager now who's coming in, they're going to be like, well, what am I coming into? You know, like, because we need some sort of, like, they are, the thing when you watch Chelsea is you can see, okay, they lack a striker. You know what I mean? They're a bit, they miss a lot of chances, but I think there's something deeper. Like, I think they have a bit of a weak underbelly. Like, when the going gets tough, like, these guys, they're not up for it. Like,
well, they're all kind of new, right? They're kind of kid FC. That's what they were saying. Daycare FC is what I've heard some content creators call them.
For me, the one thing for me that I'm realizing is, and that's why Cole Palmer's helping them a lot. Of those players that they've got,
Cole Palmer's quality.
He's quality. But the one reason why he's quality, if you think about it, when you're watching players, he's taking responsibility.
He's almost, that's a good point. He's acting like big dog out there.
And you watch him, it's him getting on the ball.
There was a penalty they had.
It's him taking the penalties.
But he took it from Sterling. I remember they showed the highlight. They went back to it and said, look, remember the penalty? It was him. He took the ball from Sterling and said, I'm doing this.
To be the man. He's saying, I want to be the man. And he's showing that he can be the man. The rest of these players, too many of them, in my humble opinion, they want to just contribute. They want to contribute something, but they don't want to. It's like they all want to be chips. They all want to be peas. They all want to be sweet corn. They all want to be the sides. Nobody wants to be the main dish, the main man, the person who's delivering on a weekly basis. And Palmer's doing that. That's the main reason that their results are going up. Because even if you look at the Brentford loss, the first 45 minutes, Palmer was running the game. And then obviously they don't score. They get hit on, and then you see the will just drain out of the team. Same against West Ham. Same against Arsenal when they conceded 1 goal. The team is not capable of overcoming setbacks. If we score in the first 5 to 10 minutes in that game, their heads will drop. Their heads will absolutely drop. Like, the longer they stay in the game without conceding or anything, they'll grow into it. They'll hit us on the counter. 100%. I can see that. Luton game, Sheffield United game, written all over it. If we haven't scored by 60 minutes, could be a long day. But on the other side, if we score early, look at the Liverpool game. People forget about the Liverpool game. They say the truth. In that game, at home, they were getting...
That was week 1, right?
It was 1-1, but they were getting slapped up.
No, it was match day 1.
Say again?
Was that match day 1, if I'm not mistaken? I have to go back and look, but I don't know.
So we're looking at it, and they're saying, okay, this is game week 1, and Liverpool played well first 20, 30 minutes, but they got back into it. My thing here with Chelsea is they've got good players, and they're capable of putting together good passages of play that last for X number of minutes. However, they're not capable at the moment of playing 90 minutes at a high coherent level. 100% they're not. I've not seen that from them. So I'd be remiss to think they were going to suddenly start doing it against us. So what they do have, though, is profiles that can hurt us. Mudryk versus Porro. Do you know what I mean?
That was actually going to be my next question, is what y'all's thoughts on Mudryk so far. Is obviously he came in with the high price tag, kind of didn't do much when he was wearing that number 15, which, hey, could be the Eric Dyer curse. You're in the Premier League, you wear 15. You could be cursed. I guess doesn't Reguilon actually wear 15 for United, and he's their best player? So maybe I'm wrong. But I digress. Mudryk. Paul, when you've watched Chelsea, what are your thoughts on this Mudryk guy? Obviously, I don't even know if he's going to be fit because there was some muscle injuries that apparently kept him out of the cup game.
They've got a few tweaks going on. When I see Chelsea, they're a team with zero chemistry. They're clearly a team that's been assembled by Bowley, who just wants to buy the most expensive players and pay too much for them, but with no thought given to how these players, what their personalities like, how they interact with each other. They're just all individuals. So I guess Chelsea can have their moments when the individuals shine, but when they're expected, like Jay was saying, when their back's up against the wall, they've got nothing. Because they can't rely on each other. They can't turn around or they can't try something knowing that a teammate's got their backs, because it's like they're all in it for themselves. They're not going in the same direction at all. So, I'm not impressed with them. I don't care who they've got. I don't care if they've got Mudryk or whoever. They're just not gelling as a cohesive unit.
And I want to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, but obviously my delusion and my emotions and my feelings would take me on the realm of, obviously we're going to go out there and put the work
There's
on
no room for emotion in football, Jacob. There's no room for emotion.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Hold on. That was fun match. We won. Fun match for me to watch.
There are 3 points on the board.
3 more points. Thank you. No, but in all seriousness, you're making me forget what I was going to say, Paul.
Sorry, man.
It's okay. That's part of the fun. Look, I worry. Okay, I remember now. You were talking about their chemistry, that they have zero chemistry when their back's against the wall. Now, to play a little bit, isn't that what Pochettino's there for? To instill that chemistry, instill that mindset of, hey, when our back's against the wall. And with the likes of what we were saying, like Cole Palmer's stepping up to be a leader. He's straight up. Raheem Sterling's been there longer than Cole Palmer. And he just said, no, I'm taking this penalty. I don't care who you are. And to me, that's a symbol of like this young man is stepping up. So could it be a timing thing that they start clicking now, or is it one of those you might think it could happen later, where he's starting to come along and be a leader, they're starting to build this chemistry there, whereas right now we could say yes, when their back's against the wall, maybe they do crumble, but in the future maybe that's not the case, because Pochettino is there to change that. He's there to put that cohesiveness, that chemistry together between them.
I don't think it's a real hard job for him to do, because when you've got players that are there that he didn't purchase and they're on ridiculous 8-year contracts, they know, they don't have to put out for the manager. They've got a job, but basically a job for life as a footballer, So I think that kind of takes away from a bit of the hunger, a bit of the desire, because they know no matter what they do, they're safe. The manager can go. And look, if they do get relegated, they've probably got a juicy, nice exit clause anyway. I don't see how Pochettino can.
You think it pays more than Ndombele's release clause, like whatever it would cost to release Ndombele? Where do you think that ranks to release? Like, say Mudryk ends up being a flop and he gets a beer belly or something, like hypothetical, right? How much do you think it would cost for them to buy out his contract versus how much it would cost us to buy out Ndombele?
Oh, I think that. Well,
I think it's like 20-something million for us to buy out Ndombele's the remainder of his contract.
I'm not interested in that guy, but I think as far as Chelsea goes, it's gonna. This is the problem. So they, this is what happens when you try and be smart in football. You try and be a bit clever. So Bowley thought he was being the genius. 8-year contracts. That means I won't be breaching fair play, because it's amortized over 8 years instead of 6 or 5 or 3 or whatever. But the problem is, if a player turns into a dead ass, it's going to cost a fortune to buy him out. Or if you flog him, you're going to lose money, which means, because of fair play, you can't refresh the squad. So I think Bowley, he's painted himself into a corner with his team and the way he's running Chelsea. And I, for one, am enjoying their demise.
Demise? I mean, is it the problem is like
I feel like they're in their demise right now. I know it's worse in theory, but this is a club that is going to spend the money it takes to prevent what we would all say. Well, it's fun to laugh and say, yeah, Chelsea should get relegated. It'd be funny. Honestly, last year when it almost happened, it was absolutely hilarious. But my point in saying that is like, I don't think that they would allow it to get to that point because of the financial stature and like just the stature of that club. I don't think it would get to that juncture, but I feel like their demise, we might be seeing either the end of it or the continuation of it, because I, for one, don't think Poch can do it because he could. I just think even when the pressure wasn't, imagine the pressure at Chelsea to win a trophy. Like if you listen to any, well, not any, but most Chelsea content creators, they would all say, we got to go out there and win something, build on this, and then next season challenge for X or Z. And I sympathize with that because of where their recent hit, the last 20, 30 years or so. It's
when they were cheating, when they were being funded by, oligarchy money. Okay, I mean, well done, Chelsea. See, I think the difference between Chelsea and Tottenham, I think it comes down to what I'd say is like the natural size of the club. Now, Tottenham is a massive club, and I think to some extent we've kind of been held down a bit by ownership. And I'm not just talking about Daniel Levy. I'm going back to Irving Scholar and Alan Sugar as well. They've kind of kept us down a bit, but we're starting to flourish now anyway, so that's all right. But Chelsea, they're a smaller fan base, not much pedigree. I think they won like 4 trophies before Abramovich came along. One of them was due to bloody Glenn Hoddle, so they can thank us for that as well. So they've kind of been artificially inflated by these benefactors, and I think that time is coming to an end, and they will return back to their natural state, which is Division 2.
But the one thing I would like, I don't want to say I'm an Enoch apologist, but like I'm probably.
You've been labeled as such. You wouldn't call yourself. Some people.
I wouldn't call myself that. Other people would feel way more comfortable giving me that label. The way I see Spurs is a little bit different. It's like I think the stadium build from when I started supporting Spurs, like the teams that were above us, like the Evertons, Villa were finishing above us particularly. Leeds were finishing up. Leeds were miles ahead of us when I was younger. Like Leeds had financial ruin. Everton had financial ruin. Like Villa, it's almost like keeping a club on West Ham had financial ruin. Like all of these clubs all went too close to the sun, trying to kind of do what Spurs did, and I'm almost like I think we've been too risk averse sometimes, but I also think strategy wise and stuff. How often will you be doing something and then a Russian oligarch just drops in? Do you know what I mean? And it's like you'll be doing something. Saudi owners just drop in, or Abu Dhabi owners just drop in, and it's almost like sometimes what people are asking is you want perfection, which is Liverpool. You want what Liverpool did, yeah? Which gave them 1 league. Liverpool were perfect, and they got 1 league.
Well, then they challenged for the quadruple the following year, right?
They won 1 champion, which was against us, right? So
and it has an armpit stain on it, in my opinion. The stain of an armpit. Let's not forget Sissoko's sweaty pit is all over that. So that's how I helped myself that evening feel better. I was just like, you're kissing Sissoko's armpit right now.
You mentioning that there, Jacob, right? Like you, I know you've said this, that I don't really go on about refereeing decisions because you're still going to go out there and win a game no matter what. And what happened to Tottenham in that Champions League final under Poch was when that Sissoko incident happened. We were out of the game, where our heads went down.
Mentally,
we didn't
absolutely gone. We were like, oh my God, we've lost our opportunity.
Yeah, and I think that. So what you were saying earlier, Joe, about when Chelsea are behind, they just crumble. They just crumble, and I wonder if that is a factor of Pochettino. I don't know whether it is or not, but I saw it at Tottenham. Our heads would bloody well go down a lot.
I want to give the thing with Poch, right, is that it's like sometimes I need to take a big moment and step away from the way I perceive him now versus the way I perceived him then. And the truth is probably somewhere right in the middle. So now I'll look at him and I'll be like, this guy squandered our birthright. Do you know what I mean? Our league title, this guy squandered our birthright. We should have had and people will be like, well, but I'm like, okay, listen. If you gave Conte, Mourinho, or Klopp the exact same squad, yeah, that Poch had 15, 16, 16, 17, would one of them have brought home would one of them have brought us a league title home?
Could have.
I would say that each one of those people were more likely to bring us a Premier League title home than Poch.
For me, I guess the part that you know, the sentimentality surrounding Poch in this weekend, on Monday, is a little strange for me personally, and I'll tell you why on a few reasons. Because it just, like, at the end of the day, what did he win?
See,
people say that he took us into this echelon, and I would agree the marketability of the club went up, but like that was just the nature of the league, I think, at the time as well. The Premier League was becoming and pushing right around the time, at least from a USA perspective and my perspective as a Texas person. And in Texas, American football is the biggest sport there is. Children are trained from young ages to play American football here in Texas. Like, that is the biggest sport. So it didn't really, like, for me, in my experience, the Premier League was getting big as Pochettino and Spurs were as well. So I just saw it as a natural progression from both. And so and also, like, I feel like it's very simple to disregard our history that way by doing it. Like, let's just disregard Bill Nicholson by saying Pochettino has made us what we are. Like, I think that's a little unfair to history.
I think, yeah, it's almost like he created the vision of, like, he helped us get back to, like,
an expectation. He helped us get to an expectation, I would say.
That version of Spurs that Poch created, 16, 17, 17 wins, 2 draws at home, unbeaten, coming second, probably the best pure Tottenham team that I've seen in my life. Didn't win a lick. Do you know what I mean? It's like didn't win a lick, and that's, for me, that's where a lot of Tottenham fans get into their own feelings. They allow the rival fans to affect their enjoyment and perception of how they had in that seat. Arsenal will finish 8th, win a cup, and then they will act like they enjoyed the whole season. They will act like the ends justified the means, and they're entitled to, because they won. My thing is that, I wouldn't swap the Champions League run for a League Cup. Like, do you know what I mean? I would no. For an FA Cup, you could make an argument, but I'm not sure. That's a once in a, I don't want to say a lifetime, but that's a once in a 10-year run. That's Ajax coming from behind. That's beating Man City over 2 legs. And I guess from the other side, when you're rating Poch, he helped raise the expectation levels of the club. He helped raise the profile of the club, our perception. It allowed people to be scared of us. Like, we were like, we can't beat a low block. There's a reason they're doing a low block. It's because they're damn scared of you. Like, so it's one of those where the truth.
Yeah, look, I became a fan during Pochettino's reign.
Levels, probably somewhere in the middle, right?
Yeah, like, and look, I guess it's probably strange to hear. At least whenever I've made this argument to people, they say, well, the only reason you're a fan, Jacob, is because of Pochettino. If it wasn't for Pochettino, you would have never heard about them, is what some people do say to me. And, again, that to me is, ifs and buts. We can only explore, I guess, hypotheticals at that juncture. But to me, it could have been anybody in that position at Tottenham Hotspur. I think that if they played a certain style and identity that helped us get back to an expectation of where at the end of the day, he underachieved. JC's got a very good point. Poch underachieved with the team that we had. We had a fantastic team It was a great team. This is why it was part of like how I became a fan, was because of these players and this team. And it's just like the ragtag bunch of who are they's, because from an American standpoint, you know of United, you know of Liverpool, you know of Arsenal, you know of these bigger clubs, but like when it came to Spurs, it was just like everyone overlooked them. So that's what attracted me. It wasn't Pochettino necessarily. And so it's like, from my standpoint, I can only speak on that end. Like, but I agree, JC. I think he became that he underachieved. But was it completely his fault? This is where the areas start to get gray, because was it completely his fault he underachieved, or was it the club's fault that we didn't push on from where we were and continue what we were trying to build? Look, Son, Kane, Eriksen, Trippier, Walker, Alderweireld, Vertonghen, Dembele. Throw Dele in there as well. Dele started.
You know what, and even like people like the squad, like we had people like Chadley. Like Chadley was dropping 10 goals. Chadley was a great squad player. Like, as in, like, getting 10 goals, like, in the league from the wing, like, Lamella, like, the squad was better than people. Like, we got 5th with a Mason Bentaleb pivot, yeah? So, I'm not trying to say these guys are amazing, but I'm saying that pivot got us 5th, yeah? So then it's like, I think the next season, it's obviously you got Dembele, you got Dyer, you've obviously got centre-backs. You've got Wimmer. He's not great, but he's decent backup. You've got Davies and Rose. You've got Walker and Trippier. Like, it wasn't like bloody hell with Man City with world-class players in 20 positions. See, someone's like, I've only ever heard to be... Because that's what we do. We're doing revisionism. I remember watching.
Same here.
Let me run his stats. You guys keep talking. I'm gonna find Chadley's stats.
Big up Blue London says, Jacob, you should thank that manager Tim Sherwood, as he supported Kane in early days, and he elevated Spurs to high. Look, you had, in my opinion, the most blossoming striker in your squad, and you couldn't get over the line because when you think about. Oh, big up Mia. I'm gonna stop what I'm saying because she's using her membership month. It says member for 3 months, but Mia, I know you've been a member for longer. There was some weird YouTube things going on that stopped you from being a membership, but she says Poch is the past. He is now working for the enemy. Spot on. This is exactly how I feel. Paul, I think go ahead.
Well, you see, I get why people like your ages have a soft spot for Poch, because that would have been the best you've seen us. I'm guessing, even though we're revising history and saying he was a loser now, but at the time that was the best. But I'm kind of.
I want to call him a loser now because he's with Chelsea.
Yeah.
At the time, I didn't feel like a loser with him.
But I don't quite have that same attachment. Yeah, I liked him, but I also like Redknapp and I like Martin Jol. I like Terry Venables. But I grew up when Keith Birkinshaw was the manager, when we did actually used to win stuff. So that, for me, is the kind of level. Spurs at that time, league, okay, we finished third a couple of times. But the reason why we won so many cups is because over a home and away fixture, Tottenham Hotspur could beat any team in Europe. And that's what we used to do. Even when we didn't win, we've progressed so far all the time. So I agree. Like, we had a really great team then, but it was kind of the first 11, and I don't think Poch was backed. They did go 3 transfer windows without buying any players to support him, and it was more than that. They didn't back him because they just sacked him instead of sticking with him through the rebuilding the stadium period and all that sort of stuff. But Poch isn't up there with the managers that I really, really like, of which now we've got one that for me really is up there. Ange Postecoglou, he is absolutely the real deal.
Hey, Tricky one said AP's better than him anyway. Look, if Ange Postecoglou walked away from Tottenham Hotspur, he would have just as many trophies with Tottenham Hotspur as Maurizio Pochettino. And I would say, when I look at Jose Mourinho's tenure, he got us to a final, and everybody fucking hated him. It's like, what did he do? Or what did?
But the thing with Poch was when you look at his career up to that point, Espanyol, Southampton Spurs. He was a bit of an overachiever to an extent. Do you know what I mean? He got the teams overperforming, but it always came. And I guess that's the thing about Spurs, like as a club. Sometimes we're a club that probably gets the most praise without winning. Do you know what I mean? I always think Spurs are a very unique club, because when I look at Spurs in Europe and our standing and our profile, despite the fact we've not won anything, it's a very high profile, really. There's no other club.
I beg to differ. We've won 17 major honours and 3 European trophies. So, you know.
Absolutely, but so have Nottingham Forest, and Leicester have won a Premier League title more recently.
Hey, Forest only have 2.
Like less than 10 years ago. And
yeah, they have European Cups, though, man.
What I'm trying to say is that true. Like there comes a certain point in time, and hopefully over the next few years it happens, is that we have to embrace expectation. And I think that under Poch, we didn't embrace expectation. We weren't willing to. I think under Ange, you can see that Ange is, even from his quotes, like, you know, the fans are allowed to dream, the fans are allowed to do this, because he knows that he's capable of living up to the fans' expectations, or at least in his head, he believes so. That's a big difference between us and the Poch, where we were happy to be there, lucky to be there, punching above our weight. It was never these players. Afterwards, retrospectively, it was Walker's a £50 million defender. Yeah, Dembele is one of the best. Eriksen's the best playmaker. But in real time, we were constantly fighting with the happy to be here, things like that, you know.
Making up the numbers.
Yeah, it's like...
Tottenham Hotspur's got a seat at the top table. Under the table.
Exactly. I just look at some of these names, and I guess it's just disappointing, right? Like Walker, like you said, he ends up going to City for a big fee. Trippier, he went to Madrid, and then now he went back to Newcastle, and he was the best right back last season.
Yeah.
Eriksen wanted to leave here because we weren't ambitious enough, and like that became a running theme, and where eventually, even if it's a myth, if a myth is said enough, it becomes, there's some truth in it, because it's just like so ingrained inside the DNA.
One thing I just wanted to add on what you're saying is that when I think there's a few things that really, the problem with Levy, like, and this is something I genuinely think, he's nowhere near as bad as people think. But what happens is,
you apologist. You're apologist.
What happens is something will happen and it will scar him. Do you know what I mean? And he will react to that, and it will take him a year or two to get it out of his system. I'll give you an example. So, for example, Walker. Yeah? So when Spurs have to sell Walker, Walker demands to leave, Bale and stuff. Now he's like, I don't want to sell players. I don't want players to be leaving that. And now we stop selling players at the top of their value. So now we then miss the window to sell players, and now we have older players that people don't want because we're so annoyed and irritated about constantly having to sell our players at the top level. We don't win. But now we bring in win now managers because the project managers weren't doing it. So now I'm going to bring in a win now manager because we've not been winning. And it's just like those decisions that we've made are just they're very. It shows it's a lot easier to go from 6th to 2nd than it is to go from 2nd to 1st. I guess is the underlying point that I'm trying to make. And we struggled to make that jump to be winners. And I don't think that's all on Poch. You got to put it down to the board and stuff. But I guess, Jacob, that's a nice transition to some of the Gabonini quotes and the football structure of Tottenham Hotspur in 2023.
The two things that Poch did really did turn me off him while he was there. One was the quote you've both mentioned about, trophies are decorations, they're just for egos. I'm thinking, what? But the other thing is, when he wrote a book while he was Tottenham manager, and there was a bit of telltale about the dressing room, and I think for a manager that is a massive no. You don't write about your players in a book. It'll cast aspersions on them while you're managing them. How are you going to get their respect from that? So
I'll tell you where you can get the respect. Read the whole book. It's coming out on Thursday. I'm also doing a book signing. I just think I agree with you. It's kind of silly. Blue London here says this season is your chance. You don't know about the next season.
Yeah.
Just look at Ten Hag. And someone from Orange, Texas. I didn't know there was a city called Orange. Someone from Orange, Texas is calling me. Should I answer it live on air or what?
I'll answer it.
All right, here we go. Put him on speaker. Hello. Hello.
Hi, this is Sarah with Alleviate Tax. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing well, thanks. So I'm reaching out because I noticed that you...
Are you AI or are you a real person?
I was going to say that. That's a nice voice.
Through the IRS Fresh Start program.
He must be AI.
Are you familiar with the IRS Fresh Start program?
Are you AI or are you a real person?
This is a human voice. I'm just using technology to speak with you today.
Yeah, that sounds like an AI. That sounds like an AI response. I'm hanging up. This is a human voice. I'm just using technology to speak with you. What kind of fucking quote is that?
Nah. Because Jacob, if that was a real person, she gave the most AI answer she could possibly give.
Yeah, you should be like, yes, I have 3 daughters at home. Thank you. That's a human response. Instead, she was like, now this is a human voice, but I am using technology to speak to you. I mean, I guess
I am very passionate about football.
I feel feelings. I have feelings. That was funny. Big up Howie as well. Big up Cursor in the house. We got some Chelsea fans.
I see Mickey Van de Ven is a big fan of me. Not that big mouth idiot black dude. Well, I mean, first and foremost, I personally think my mouth is a reasonable size, and secondly, I mean, idiot. Yeah, I mean, sometimes, but I mean, you're going to have to be more specific, Mickey Van de Ven, or person who's living vicariously through Mickey Van de Ven with a random football Twitter picture.
Yeah, well,
either or, anyway. Lovely to see you again. Make sure you leave a like. Thank you very much.
Make sure you leave a like. Jay's a respected panelist member on this channel. I don't care what no one says about you. Your mouth is appropriately sized.
I thought it was appropriately sized.
And I'm sure the ladies love how big that mouth is as well. So
I think Jay has a human-sized mouth.
I'm using technology to say Jay has a human mouth.
Nah. Listen, I don't mind because a lot of the comments are very nice. But you know, it's cool. It's really not that stressful. I hope Mickey enjoys the show. I'll try not to smile much.
Please hit that like on your way out.
Well, you know, so just wanna.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. If I had that, if my things were that straight and pearly white, I'd probably be showing them off too. Like that's the thing. People get jealous. They got to go to Turkey and get the veneers. You know.
You're too kind. Thank you, Dry Roasted. Everyone's lovely. Everyone's lovely. Come back, Mickey. Come back.
Oh, he says he's out of here. Bye, Mickey.
Mickey.
Bye, Mickey.
No, Mickey.
Hey, just hopefully you're ready for Monday, Mickey. Just make sure you're ready for Monday. We need you to lock down Cole Palmer, okay?
Oh, come back, Mickey, please. I'm so sorry. I don't know what I've done to you.
What gave Mickey the shits there? What was that about?
Maybe I could improve. Like, you know.
Mickey Van de Ven's upset with Jay.
He is very upset with me. I don't know what I've done to him. Yeah. Like, but
it's okay. You know, maybe
I think what it is that. Yeah. Go.
I was gonna say my hypothesis on what it is Jay. There's frequently like young women walking behind you. I think maybe he recognized his girlfriend and was like, "Hang on, this dude's an idiot." And she said she loved that big mouth.
You know what it is? Like, honestly, from my point of view, like I'm a positive fan. I like to be a positive fan. I've heard that a few times, Cursor. I'm a positive fan. So listen, I don't mind negativity, but Mickey, one day, you know, maybe you can be a bit more positive. You know, maybe you take the purple and gold out of your Twitter user handle. You know, live a little. You know, Lakers Twitter doesn't need you. But let's move on. Let's move on. To
me, man, what's the point in supporting a football club if you're not having fun and enjoying it and dreaming and all that sort of stuff, man? You know?
Well, I would also put it this way: is like no matter how many times Jay has said something where I'm like, okay, that is categorically incorrect in my opinion. It doesn't make me think
Who gives
you're
a
an
shit?
idiot. Like, who cares, bro? We all have different ways we support our club. We all have different ideas and philosophies on how to improve our club. And
Definitely.
at the end of the day, I like listening to all the people's whose opinions I disagree with because it helps
sure.
me feel confident. All the fools said sell Romero, sell Son. While if a bid comes in, I'm selling Son as soon as I can. I heard that in the
Oh
summer.
no,
If anyone
Sonny's been
comes in-
made captain. Sonny's not going to be a good captain.
I'm
Oh,
saying I've heard it all, and if I let people opinion, like so many people get it so wrong, but
we need a new goalkeeper. Vicario's crap.
I did hear that. Someone said
let's us realign with where we were because
you had a perfect segue before we got disrupted.
Oh, sorry, we've stamped all over it like clumsy elephants.
He had a beautiful
bollocks.
segue into Gabbanini's quotes on why he left at Tottenham, and I have them starred here. So if you don't mind, I will read them out. This is the quote from Leonardo Gabbanini on why he left. Yes, I put some marinara sauce on that. I've been working on it because my Antonio Conte, this club, these players.
It's unacceptable.
It's unacceptable for these players. You can change the manager, but the situation, it will not change. Or what do you say? This I guarantee, or something like that. Appreciated that.
The quotes, Jacob. Fuck's sake.
I know, absolutely. Come on, with
the quotes from Leonardo Gabbanini. Quote.
Vicariously.
Quote. I was a
Wait,
Chiefs.
just before you do the quotes, Jake. No, I'm just joking, man.
What are you waving around up there, Jay? Is that a pickle?
Pasta, spaghetti.
Spaghetti.
Yeah, it was. I was trying to
in honor.
You know
I
mean?
like
This
it.
is-
The
this is
Gabbanini.
do you remember Bez? This is my version of Bez. These are my maracas.
Oh, Bez, man, what a hero! What a hero!
I
Now
don't
you're
know the
talking
reference,
right
but
here,
I'm
son.
just smiling and nodding.
Smile.
Happy Mondays, Hacienda. I was there. I was at the bloody Hacienda.
It was a little bit beyond my time.
I don't know
the
any
Hacienda,
of this
but-
reference at
Don't
all.
worry about it, man. You missed out. But it's a block of apartments now, so don't worry about it. The world's
Oh.
shit these days.
Well, there you go. Gilligan's Island, maybe? I don't know. But the quote here from Leonardo Gabbanini, I didn't understand the gas reference. But I'm here for it. Spaghetti, Gabbanini, I'm all for it. Marinara sauce, sprinkle it on me. The quote here from the guy on why he left Tottenham Hotspur says, quote, I was a chief scout when I arrived at Tottenham, and I love this. When I left, I was the sporting director in my mind. Not on paper, but in his mind, okay? Says, to fix the situation at the club, I had to do something that brought a new mentality. They opened my mind. Quote, the plan of the club was to have more people in more positions, pause. And in this world now, we have the, quote, head of and the chief of. You have 7 steps before you speak with the owner. We did an amazing job. Now tell me why I need to step back. Why do I need to be working under 1 or 2 other people? I want to be in direct communication with the ownership of a club. This is where I can make a difference. If I continue speaking directly with the owner, we can do something good. I don't want to repeat the same responsibilities as when I was chief scout, bringing a list of players for others to sign. I want to be active like I was in this summer's market. Sometimes when you bring something, you cannot go back. As chief scout, I can achieve the best level in the world, but I probably wasn't the top sporting director at Tottenham. So when you want to be sporting director like I do, maybe you need to take another path. Start with another club, and maybe one day I can come back to a club like Tottenham as sporting director. Now that was a mouthful.
Really good quotes though.
So I will put it, a lot of great stuff he said. There's a few things that I want to dissect, but before I do that, Jay, was there anything in specific that you stood out to you about this quote that alarms you or gives you some hope?
So one is we did an amazing job. I really like that because it's almost like you look at the players they brought in, you look at the impact the players had straight away, and they should pat themselves on the back. You know, they had a short turnaround, new manager, new style of play to work out what players they needed and would fit in. You know, it's good. I think it's nice to see that it seems quite clearly here that he's a smart guy. He's basically saying here that I'm not the best director of football yet. right? And Spurs could get a better director of football because it's not his job. It's not the job he's been doing, sporting director. So what he's basically saying now is, I am capable of I am the best scout in the world. He's basically saying I'm the best chief scout in the world, but I don't want to be a chief scout anymore. I want to be a sporting director, and I understand why Spurs didn't pick me as sporting director because I'm not ready yet. So I need to go away, get better, learn, and I can come back. And I don't think it was an easy decision for Tottenham not to pick this guy this summer. Do you know what I mean? Like, if you look at the guy we've got from Villa, his credentials, how people are talking about him, very good job of taking a championship squad into Europe in 3 years, plus including Grealish. You know, that's good work from him. I can see why he lost out. And if you notice after the window, it wasn't really fast. Like, it's like the club took its time to make this decision. So, yeah, I think it's a really self-aware, good understanding of where he's at. Really nice to get a feel for behind the scenes. And just all in all, it's like, it's never nice to see someone leave the club that's done a good job. But this is probably as nice and amicable a split as you could probably hope for. So, I just think it's really good stuff, and it's a nice article, and there's some really good points that he makes.
Let me throw this to you, Paul. Do you worry that with the admittedly good business that we did in the summer and as of late with, the Sarr buy, loan him back, Udogie buy, loan him back type thing, like there's some good business in there that we've done, not just this summer. Do you worry that seeing as we were starting to look like we were doing things well, now we're changing everything up, that this could disrupt the growth and the pattern of growth that we've seen thus far? Do you think that there's a chance of that?
No, because we got Ange in charge, and I think Ange has been pretty clear that he's controlling who we buy and who we sell. And I agree with what Gabonini is saying about, the hierarchy in football clubs. It's a thing that started, I'm guessing, around the late 80s, early 90s, where you started, it used to be you had the manager and the owner, and they would do the talking with each other. And I don't think that necessarily has to have changed. Obviously, there's more money in the game, but the manager's still managing a squad of 25, keeping an eye on youth, buying and selling. And really, it's just all this influx of millions of billions of dollars that corporations are like. They like to have hierarchies and middle managers and box tickers. But I think the way Tottenham is at the moment, I think it's already started, and I think it's going to become what a lot of the successful clubs are like. No one can tell me that Klopp and Pep are at the behest of a sporting director or a football director who says these are the players you're going to have and these are the players you're selling. They're obviously calling the shots, and I think Ange is really doing that at Tottenham, so that as the sporting director or whoever these suits, these clowns in suits are, because I don't really have much respect for any of them. They're generally not football people. They're there to take care of the legalities, the agent negotiations, the paperwork, all that crap that's come into the game. So that they're really there to serve Ange, I think. So it doesn't matter who they are. Ange has the say, and they do all the shitty new world work that's required now to get players into a club. So no, I'm not worried, man. Because look, if we had any other manager, yeah, I probably would be. But we've got Ange in there, and he's the man.
And Ange also said that all transfers will eventually be greenlit by him. And he has great talent ID from his past work. So, like, for me, I've rested in the solace that, yes, at the end of the day, these are just more people to assist Ange in what he's got to do outside of the football pitch, which is scouting and recruiting. And look, the part about this, why I highlighted, the plan of the club was to have more people in more positions. The plan of the club, that just sounds good. The club has a plan, and I've been asking for that. Speaking of asking, I haven't asked very frequently, but we are almost at an hour and a half in the stream. So if you haven't already, I humbly suggest that you go ahead and hit that like, participate in the poll. The next thing we will be talking about after all this is we do want to talk about obviously Ange Postecoglou and CUTI Romero have been nominated for separate awards. But big up C Cubed is in the house. Mountain Bushman is in the house as well.
Hey,
big up Mountain Bushman. Who's News says you need middlemen between players and the board and the manager and the board. So sounds like so. Some people say that they worry if more cooks in the kitchen. I guess that's one way to look at it. More cooks in the kitchen could potentially mean, though, more innovation, more creativity amongst the rest, and more ideas.
More spreadsheets, more PowerPoint presentations,
more iridescent logos.
I've always loved it, Jacob. I've always loved it. I'm a big fan.
Australian Gooners here says, hey, you fellow Aussie cobblers, don't dare support Spurs out of Ange lure, as ultimately Spurs will let down Ange. Do you want to speak from as an Australian to another Australian, Paul? I'll give you the moment.
Well, I don't know, man. He's an Arsenal fan, isn't he? We're gonna. Who cares what an Arsenal fan's? What do you know? You're flat out. See, I know that like Spurs fans are at the moment. They're kind of divided in something. Some think we're in a title race, some don't, right? But as far as support for the manager, we're all there. I haven't seen anyone say they're not there. You lot are etta, because you can't even. You wouldn't be able to have Ange Postecoglou because you're struggling with 3 syllables, let alone 4 in a surname. Or etta, you're all divided. Half of you want him, half of you don't. So it's irrelevant, man. Irrelevant.
Love it. Big up JC says, see you, Jacob. I'm off. Like the video. Would love to tune into a match preview. Look, I plan on bringing some more match preview a little bit later on in the week. Looking at trying to get some. There's a couple different Chelsea content creators I'm in cahoots with. So keep it locked, JC. We'll see you next time. I do want to talk about CUTI a little bit. Look, some people aren't going to like the fact that we're up for it again. Look, the first month, James Maddison, Ange Postecoglou. Second month, Heung-min Son, Ange Postecoglou. Third month, Romero is now nominated, and so is Ange Postecoglou. Real quick, I just want to throw it out. Paul, do you think that, number one, he could miss out on the award just because they don't want to give him the 3-peat? Or do you think that he's the rightful deserved winner of?
Well, we're top of the league. We won all our games. And I said in August, I said, if the Premier League give Ange the manager of this month, they're going to paint themselves into a corner. They're just going to have to give it to him every month because this is the start of Ange. He's getting better and better and better. So I wouldn't be surprised if he gets it. I don't think they got. Who else is? I mean, there's no other. Well, look, I'm a one-eyed Spurs fan. So what, obviously I'm going to say, but I mean, Ange.
Emery's getting Emery's had a lot of positive press over the last couple of weeks. I feel like.
Arteta got nominated as well.
Arteta got nominated.
So did Jurgen Klopp.
Klopp. Look, I think Postecoglou would be thoroughly deserving of 3 in a row. Absolutely. What else does a guy have to do to win?
He is the only person with a 100% record.
That's it.
Let's look.
But then again, we did win the first month without a 100% record.
But that's irrelevant because who was better? Nobody. And at this juncture, again, I would pose the same thing. Look, you got to objectively look at the month of October. Now, I do have a visual representation for those who may need one. So here is Tottenham Hotspur. You know me, Paul. I like to have visual representation.
Very thorough, man. Very thorough.
Look, Tottenham Hotspur, win, win, win. No draws, no losses. Arsenal, win, draw, win. There's 1 draw, 2 wins. Aston Villa, win, win, draw. 2 wins, 1 draw. And then here's Liverpool. Win, win, and a draw. Now, what does one of them have that the rest does not? 3 wins. I mean, to me, there's a clear winner. If there's not some obvious bias, then it's got to be Ange Postecoglou who wins this. That's just my opinion.
I mean, as far as sharing it around goes, maybe, they might give it to Ange this month, thinking the wheels might fall off next month because we've got a series of trickier fixtures. So they think, we'll give it to him this month because he ain't going to get it next month, and then we'll just win all our next games as well. So,
the only reason they wouldn't give it to him is because they're tired of giving it to him, is my opinion. When you look at it, he's the most deserving to win it. Now, the other award is a little bit different, I would say. I do have it somewhere. Where is it? I think it's way down here. Oh, yeah, by the way, Swifties, CUTI Romero, he is a fan of Taylor Swift, so all Swifties out there, go ahead and support one of your own. That is Cristian Romero. Go ahead and vote him for Premier League Player of the Month. Let's get that going. I don't want to get distracted from what I was trying to say. But look, got a lot on CUTI Romero. I'm kind of giving away all the gravy here. Hang on. Everybody just hang on with me now. Here it is. I found it. All right. So these nominations for Player of the Month is a little bit more tricky. Yeah. Because Mohamed Salah, 3 games, 5 goals. You got to look at that and say,
yeah. It's gonna be tough to not give it Salah.
Yeah. So that's my fear. But again, Swifties, Taylor Swift fans, get out there and vote for one of your own. I think that's our only hope.
Let Salah win it. Listen, Liverpool fans have been on us. Yeah, on us. Imagine if Romero wins this award over
beautiful.
Oh God, they won't leave us alone all season.
It would be beautiful. It would be. I think I deserve it. Yeah. I won it, and I think I deserve it. Is what I got to say about that. CUTI must win at all costs. I voted. Have you voted? Have everyone here voted? I'm gonna put the link in the chat. There's somewhere. Because Tottenham tweeted it, and it's somewhere around here. I just real quick look at Son. Isn't he so beautiful?
Wow. I just. Oh, 1 sec. Give me 1 sec, sir.
No worries. Look, here it is. I'm gonna grab the link. I'm gonna put it in the chat, and I need everyone right now to go vote for Cristian Romero. We got to beat Mo Salah. We have to. No excuses, Tottenham Hotspur. We got to go out there and vote for our man. I put the link in the chat. Come on, Swifties unite, Donovan. Swifties unite. Big up Mick Dundee. Yeah, Travis, I skipped your question because it was weird. And I'm a weird guy, but that was actually kind of weird. Said something about me, give off the vibe of being a dangerous person. You don't know me.
What?
Yeah. I'll bring it up. It was kind of silly, and I didn't want to disrupt the conversation. But Travis says, don't mind, but I want to ask that from the out. There's no question, so I don't know what you're asking. It says, from the outside, you look quite funny. So I look funny and calm, cool guy, but I give the vibes of a person who will be dangerous and aggressive in situations. That sounds.
Calm down, Jacob. You
motherfucker. I'm about to show you how dangerous I am.
Basically, you're Quinn from Homeland.
I don't watch that show. Who's Quinn?
Damn. That was a good reference. I wish you guys. I'm going back on mute.
I don't know who Quinn from Homeland is, but I'll take it, Jay. Hopefully he's a good looking chap. But big up Travis Johnson. I really didn't know what to point out because you said, Jacob, you skipped my question. I don't know where the question was in that last comment. It just made me kind of feel weird. Don't know why you said that, but hey. This guy says, thanks for the link. I just voted for Salah. Love that. Look, Australian Gooner wants Romero to not win so bad that they didn't even vote for their own player, Declan Rice, who got nominated.
Did Declan Rice get nominated?
He got nominated. Look.
Oh, come on, man. Come on.
There they are.
Who says there's no Arsenal favouritism in the Premier League hierarchy? Always has been, always will be. Declan Rice, bugger off. But voting for Salah, just like us, that's quite fun, man. Playing for the Goonie there.
Big up, Steady as Shark is in the house. That handball goal was bollocks. Come on, man. Saw score 5 goals. Yeah, he did. I vote on
It's a
Merritt.
fair shout.
Fair enough. That's what I'm saying. Like when you say 3, that in the month of October he had 5 goals. That is why Son won last month. He had a bunch of goals, more goals than anybody. So it's obviously like, yeah, solid. But look, Australian Gooner, you may vote on merit. I vote on bias, and my bias is CUTI Romero every single time. But yeah, it's definitely. I mean, when you just look at the numbers, it's pretty easy to see. But big up CUTI, regardless. I think it's his first ever nomination for Player of the Month. He's got Player of the Week, but never been nominated for Player of the Month. So
you know, it's pretty hard for a defender to get nominated like that as well. It's always the glamorous attacking players that get the the plaudits. So well done on him. Well done, Romero.
Yeah, big up Romero. Big up Taku. So I think Liverpool bring it home. I think he's talking about in the realms of the Premier League title. But I got some more things I did want to talk about. Look, while we're on CUTI Romero, it would not behoove me to not go ahead and share what Ange had to say about Cristian Romero. Ange says CUTI, I'm sure, was disappointed with the way his club football went last year, but he also ended up winning the World Cup. Since I've been here, I just think he's an outstanding defender. He's really strong. He has a real strong personality, and he has a real winner's mindset in everything he does. Everything, I think there's a growth in our front third, but I think the way defensive side of our game has gone and come together when you consider Vicario has just joined the club, Mickey has just joined the club, Destiny has just come across after his first year, and Pedro in his second year, but probably first year playing in that position, which is the right back, Pedro Porro, he's speaking of. He says, I think the one constant in the rock and there has been Romero, with the way that he has taken responsibility of guiding the other guys around him so they look assured. I think they have felt security having him beside them. I think he's a big part of why we've done so well defensively. Again, there's more to come from him. He wants to improve. He works so hard every day. You need it. He's a winner, and you can see that within him in the way that he trains, the way that he plays, so it helps from a cultural perspective as well. Look, the line I'm going to highlight real quick from this is, I think they feel a security having him beside them. Now, that's the part that stands out to me the most. Which Jay, I do know you got to go here in a minute, so I want to ask your thoughts on that specifically. But the line, I think they feel security having him beside them. I think that trust is something that we haven't had in our back line for a little while now. And to me, I'll big up David O'Loughlin. Jacob, you stood up to Sean. That takes him to... What did I do? I don't know what I did. Big up, Sean. But yeah.
Did you get aggressive? Did you get aggressive again? Dangerous.
Dangerous and aggressive. That explains me. Look, having CUTI Romero as a leader, as a stability, it's in the back of your mind that if I go forward, I have someone who can help me. And I think that confidence, we see it. And that's been one of the things that in the summer, everyone was saying Romero was this, Romero was that. Now our manager's coming out and saying this about Romero. I just wanted to highlight it, that not only has his individual play helped Tottenham Hotspur, but as this line here suggests, Ange Postecoglou would believe that his sheer just being there has improved our defensive play. Paul, would you agree with that?
Oh, let Jay go first. He's got to go, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's still on mute, so I don't know if he's even.
Oh, there. Sorry. Oh, I wasn't. Oh, I thought Jay was going to talk. So, I agree with what you said. I wasn't listening. Was it?
I respect it because you're like, oh, Jay's going. I can just.
I'm just getting comfy. I was just lying down on my couch here.
Hey, no
look,
I was just talking about Cristian Romero.
Yeah, it's all coming back to me. Oh, look, man, absolutely, and like he was clearly frustrated last year, but to me, you could still see that the guy had so much quality in the way he played, and you know, it's got to be cool as a player coming into a team you know, like a Van der Ven or a Vicario, and there right next to you is a bloody World Cup winner. You know, that's it, isn't it? That's something that very, very rare does a player win a World Cup, you know? And, you know, having Romero lead and marshal our defence with players that are capable of being marshalled, yeah, that is why we're such a good defensive unit this year. You know, you can't have three players come into your defence and hit the deck running the way they've done without someone already being there, settling them down and organising them, and that's what Romero's been doing. I think Romero's. I've always liked Romero, and I think, you know, Ange has got some great words for the guy, and I think every one of them is true. Romero is absolutely fantastic.
Absolutely love it. Look, I'm about to enter in the link. Mick Dundee, you want the manager of the month? There it is. Go vote Ange Postecoglou. Australian Gunner is going to use this chance to vote Arteta, probably, you know, because Arteta, Unai Emery, Jurgen Klopp, and Postecoglou are the nominations for October manager
Dave,
of the month.
I do need to run. Unfortunately.
Yes.
But I must say thank you very much for having me. Comments, you've been lovely all night. I think you guys know where I am. J-Radar if you need anything else, and I will hopefully be back.
Yes, of course. Enjoyed it. It was a great debut. So thanks for coming on, and have a great rest of your evening, sir. Before you go, I don't know, you know, hey, schedules are crazy, but just give me your Chelsea prediction real quick.
Am I assuming Udoji doesn't play?
Yes.
I'm gonna go 3-1 Tottenham.
3-1 Tottenham. Very nice.
I love that length of deliberation by how much we were going to win by.
I was gonna go 2-1, but then I was like, I don't know, like that. 2-1, 3-1, 3-1. Let's go 3-1.
All right, 3-1. I'll take it. And before you go, there is a question that was directed at you. Yeah. Shout out Alan from Time Added On. Australian Gunner wants to know.
We still schedules and stuff like that and things, and squad rotation, innit? Squad rotation. Kevin De Bruyne, I did a hammy. I'll be back soon.
There it is. So you can find him there at Time Added On. Jay, thanks for joining again. Big up yourself right now.
Very much. Always a pleasure.
It looks like you're going out, so stay warm, my friends.
I will. It's very cold.
Yeah. See you, man. Nice chatting to you.
And then there were two. And it's us. Well, let me switch.
I've got to be on the ball now. I've got to pay full attention because it's going to be me.
Yeah, every look, Derek Smith just said, bang, you got to hang off every word there. Big up Monts with Big Six Bants as well. Says large up the chat people. Big up Big Six Bants every single time. If you want to subscribe to them, you can find them at the bottom of my homepage on YouTube. So big up Monts every single time. Great channel over there. Big up Akeef as well. Yeah, hopefully we'll get him on soon enough. And Steady as Shark says Royale's going to pocket whoever he goes. Are you concerned with Royale starting, Paul? Real quick.
No, I think he did. He did a five job. We won the game, so no, not concerned. Not concerned, really. Well, obviously, a doggy is way better because he's just ridiculously good. But I think I'd rather look, Emerson. I think Ben Davies, or Benny, as Ange called him, Benny Davies, in his conference, he's got a bit of a knock.
Is that what it is? That why he was so bad?
That's why he was taken off at half time, apparently. See, Ange doesn't slam the players, man. You know, individually, he's a class act because he knows that that ain't going to achieve anything. So no, look, Emerson. Oh, I thought he did all right. We looked so much better in the second half with him on the pitch.
Side note, Paul, you would like this. Look, so. On Spurs TikTok, they were showing Sonny being silly with getting his face scanned. So this is leading me to believe while they're there scanning Sonny's face, they're also going to scan Ange Postecoglou's face, which is about motherfucking time. So Ange's face may be coming to the game very, very soon. I don't know. but maybe because it's disrespectful at this point. He's
Absolutely, it is.
3-peat of nominations. Come on now, we're going for the 3-peat here. Postecoglou spoke about Johan Lange. I don't want to speak too much on it, but obviously he says that I've caught up with Johan and it's nothing too formal. I don't have the attention span for long meetings. And I love that because neither do I.
I love him.
I
know, man. When he said that, I just thought, yeah, you're my kind of guy. You're not one there to sit where, in a room where they've got to whack the air conditioning right up to stop people falling asleep. No, fuck all that. We'll just have a chat now and then. Human being.
Such a beautiful quote. I've caught up with him, but nothing too formal. I don't really have the attention span for all that bullshit. It tends to be casual chat. So yeah, good thing is he's in the building and he's just like, who? Oh, yeah.
That guy?
Yeah.
I've seen him around.
I've seen him. We've had some chats. We've not like sat down or anything because like I'm not trying to sit down and talk with anybody about that. But yeah, he's in the building. He's talking to people.
So, Ange, where do you see yourself in 5 years? No, Ange isn't up for that bullshit, man. What are your strengths and weaknesses, Ange?
Fuck off, mate.
Fuck off.
He says the bit with me is an easy bit, but setting up the structure about getting the department working how he wants. Rob will be joining to help. Important that they come in now in the January window is an important one. My view is if you get business done early, it is more helpful because if you leave it at the end, you can miss the opportunity of what you're trying to gain. And what sounds like to me is Pedro Porro. That took the entire month of January, and it was so fucking annoying in my opinion. Big up Dermot Celtic Rabbito says, I think you guys are deadly. And that's an indigenous compliment where he's from.
That is a massive compliment, man. Massive
I will take
compliment.
it. We're deadly, Paul, and that in the best of ways.
Is
that what they say Australia is the most deadliest place on earth? Because it's actually a compliment?
No, it's an Aboriginal term, like deadly. Like there's a radio station in Sydney called CUTI FM, which I listen to a lot. And I had one of the presenters in my cab once, and we had a good old chat. And then next day, she said, and thanks to Paul, the deadly Uber driver. And I thought, wow, that's not a
massive, title you won in a newspaper in America. I'll put it that way. Paul, the deadly Uber driver. Insurance companies ain't gonna fucking insure that. You're screwed, man. Yeah, you don't want that as a. Hey, well, that may have been a good compliment, but in America, if you saw that on a newspaper, you'd be like, steer clear of Paul. Don't book any Pauls on Uber. But hey, if you're in Australia, book Paul for an Uber and tip him 3,000% is what I say. Minimum. Aggressive sunny face coming soon to EAFC. He did aggressive face. He did a shocked face. He did a few different faces, and they were scanning him. So I don't know what's going on there. Is this true? 80% of the wildlife in Australia can kill a human. You can just say yeah.
Well, I suppose 80% of the wildlife would be human beings. So yeah, that's quite true in this country.
Well, there you go. You heard it straight from down under. Well, there's that boring part. I agree with Ange. I don't have the attention span for long meetings.
Fuck all that.
I think about Johan Lange and I try and imagine what this guy does every day. It's like he shows up, he gets coffee at the fucking break room, and then he's like chatting with people about freaking PowerPoint presentation. I don't know, bro. That must be so boring. God. Anyway, but there's that Johan Lange. They've talked. Again, Swifties, go vote for your boy. Vote for your boy. I did tweet about it too. Said attention all Swifties. Real quick, I did want to pull this up on Mickey Van de Veen. Leonardo Gabbanini, we were talking about. He said about him. He says, when we have a player like Van de Veen, it's not as simple as he's tall and he's fast. We have to predict the future. You need to be sure when decision makers start to say, I don't know, the price is high. He's young. He's not in the national team. Your job is to be there to say, no, go ahead. He will achieve great things. And this is the thing I'm most proud of at Tottenham because I didn't fight for obvious players. So he's alluding to the fact that he got a guy like Mickey Van de Veen in the door when he looked at things beyond the fact that he's tall and he's fast. He tried to predict the future. Again, it brings up the question for me, are we worried that this guy brought in the likes of Mickey Van de Veen, who's a fucking stud, who's a generational talent thus far, Do we worry that now that this guy who unearthed, I mean, he didn't unearth him technically. If you listen to United Spurs of America, I fucking unearthed him in January. Well, Wolfsburg also unearthed him, and then also the guy who was before Wolfsburg unearthed him. So technically you can't unearth what's already been unearthed. But I'm just saying, it's not hard to look at a guy like me. If my fucking amateur eyes could watch Bundesliga last season and I'm like, who's that guy? We should sign him. I didn't think he'd be this fucking good. To be completely honest, I thought he'd be good. I thought like in 3 years he'd be something special, but I didn't think in 3 days of training he would come in and start immediately and look like he's never missed a training session. I mean, the guy's absolutely a beast. But I guess for this Gabonini sense, like, look, are you concerned now that I've brought up the fact that he brought a Van de Veen to the club despite all the things that was working again? Could he have brought another Van de Veen type of player to the club and now we're missing out on that?
No, is my audio still on?
Yeah, it's a little funny. You can keep talking.
Yeah, I'll go on. It's a bit funny. I'll back in a second. But I'll just answer this question. So I'm not worried because Ange is all over it. That's like it.
All right, I love it. That's like some syrup there for the top of that pancake. I kind of like it. But big up. Paul will be right back. Let's keep running through what I got here before we sign off the show. We are almost on 2 hours, y'all. So please do keep hitting that like. I see we have hit 100 likes on the live stream. So big up to all 100 of y'all who have hit the likes on the video. And big up to everyone who partaken in the poll as well. 42% says, of course we will. Spurs are the best. We're taking all the awards home. And I like that vibe. Honestly, I do like that vibe. 31% says Salah will win player of the month, but Ange will maybe as well win. So that's another good option, I think, because obviously, realistically, Salah is probably going to win player of the month unless Swifties unite. Paul, mic check.
Yeah, is it still wobbly?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on. Give me a few minutes now.
Yeah, no worries. We'll go ahead and give Paul a little bit of oh, there he goes. What? He's in the bag, so I'll just keep. Oh, there he goes. He's by. Bye. He'll be back. Well, let me see. Let me make this bigger. Wrong layout. There we go. I've got this. I probably should have read this when all the Chelsea people were here, but now that they're all gone, I'll read this. Ange Postecoglou, on asked if he would like Chelsea's extraordinarily large transfer budget, he says, no, not necessarily. I've always said I've never felt it is about just spending money. That's been proved time and time again. Yeah, look, if you get it all right, you've got a pretty strong case, but there's a limit to every team. You can't have 24 world-class players. That will never work. It doesn't work. It's been proven. It's about having a squad that's balanced, guys that are committed to a cause, guys that maybe aren't going to play every game, but every time they play, they are going to make a huge impact for you. Because they're buying into what you're trying to build. Just spending endless money to get the best players has always been proven time and time again. It is not the answer. The answer is to get the right chemistry. Oh, here he is. I think he's back. Hang on.
La 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 la.
Sounds
Should
better.
be better, shouldn't it?
Yeah,
Hey.
it sounds a lot better. Oh, look at that. I was just reading this quote from Ange about when they asked if he would like to be able to spend as much as Chelsea. And he's just kind of saying, look, you can't have 24 world-class players in your squad. The answer is to get the right chemistry in your team, in your squad, to have 24 players committed to one cause. I don't think you can do that if you just get the best 24 players in the world. That's a headache that I definitely don't want. Paul, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I agree. I've heard Steve Perryman say something similar. He said, "Well, you can't have a team of Glenn Hoddles. It just doesn't. Football doesn't work that way. It is all about the chemistry and slotting in the different pieces. Which that was a real strength of Keith Birkinshaw when he was a manager, and I think we've got that again. And there's Ange. He's not saying that money doesn't help, but time and time again, it's been shown that money can also be a hindrance. It can also backfire against you. Chelsea at the moment, Man United. I think you need something a bit better than that. You need to understand how football works. And I think a lot of managers as you would say, what did you call them? Fakers or charlatans?
Frauds.
There's a lot frauds. That's it.
They're fraudulent.
There's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot of them around, man. There's a lot of them around. There's not the same caliber of managers that can actually coach a team around at the moment, and Ange is one of them. And yeah, I agree absolutely with what he said. You forget look at Paris Saint-Germain. You know, when they come up against opposition in the Champions League, they're not playing like they've got the best players in the world, are they? You know, even though they did have under Poch, actually, he didn't win it. So yeah, football don't work that way.
Isn't it? Ironic.
Yeah.
A little bit ironic. Saw this. Don't know how true this is. From CD Eccleshare, says January's transfer plans likely to. I love this. Are likely to include. Not that they are going to include, but it says likely to include a center back and a left wing / center forward. So it sounds like 2 players at least trying to be brought in January for center back and an attacker, which is definitely 2 holes we need filled. Pause, but we also need a James Maddison backup. There's also this quote on Ange Postecoglou. If he felt the sense that Pochettino was, quote, looming over the club in recent years since his sacking when he took the job. And I love this response. This is such a fucking quality response from the manager. He says, quote, you've heard the question about exes, mate. You don't worry about that. I've always gone into every job. When you take on a challenge, there's a million opinions that people give you internally and externally about what it was like and how great it was or how bad it was. I never put too much stock in it, and I'll make up my own mind about what an environment needs, so I don't need to. It was what it was with Maurizio in recent years and with the other managers. If you're looking for one thing that was at fault with one person, I don't think that's ever the case. It's always a multitude of factors. From my perspective, what I wanted to do when I started here, as I've done everywhere else, was to create a team in the image of the way I want us to play and in terms of the past. If you chain yourself to that, I keep saying you might make meaningful change. You can't come in with those preconceived ideas. Now, that was a long way of saying who gives a good golly fuck about Pochettino and Tottenham Hotspur. That's how I interpret it, Paul. What did this whole mumbo jumbo, what did that sound like to you?
It's sort of, to me, it was, what you're saying is like, fuck all that. I'm Ange Postecoglou, and the team's going to play the way I want, and that's got bugger all to do with anything that's happened before, any of it, good and bad, you know. But yeah, he's setting his stall out as the man in charge, and also, you know, he's taking responsibility by saying things like that. It's not the club is signing or this and that. He's alluding to the fact that not only did he have to work on the football environment, but there's also probably a load, like you said, there's a load of other things that he's had to do behind the scenes, tweaks and changes, you know, that we won't know about. So, like he said, that every other manager has to go through as well, and you can't do that if you're just trying to emulate or correct what other staff and personnel and players have done. You have to be single-minded and do it your own way. And let me give you a little story here, Jacob. This is something a chemistry teacher told us, and he said it was back in olden days, right? And there was a saxophone player, and in this kingdom, he committed some felony or crime against the rulers. So they said, right, okay, we're going to give you a chance here. You've got to walk 200 yards along this road with your saxophone full to the brim of water, and you're not allowed to spill a drop. If you spill a drop, we're going to kill you. If you get to the end, then you're a free man. And as he's walking along on one side, he's got all the haters going, boo, you shit, spill it, ah. And on the other side, he's got all the people supporting him saying, yay, go. But what did the guy do? Head down, focus to the finish line. That's the only way you can do it. And that's what Ange is doing.
To either sides. I like that.
That's right.
That's a beautiful way. Yeah, I like that. Hey, you can listen to this, you can listen to that, but either way, if you're trying to get to the end and get the job done, put your head down and just get the job done. Don't listen to anybody. I do appreciate that. Big up.
It's the same in YouTube. That's why I don't reply to comments, man.
Yeah, you dog. Go subscribe. Hotspur Hippie is in the title of this video. Make sure you go subscribe over there and leave a comment. He will never respond. Don't you worry. Now
Rest assured, that's my guarantee.
We are here on 2 hours, so I'm gonna run through the last little bit that we got because my butt is starting to hurt, quite frankly. So I'm gonna. I've asked for a better chair for Christmas. Let's see if the in-laws will give me a better chair for maybe my ass won't go numb. But let's keep moving on through here. Look, this is a great reason why we already talked about why I think Ange deserves to win Premier League Manager of the Month. Here's something else that's kind of fun. Spurs shot stopper leads the way out of all goalkeepers in the Premier League. As far as points. Now, this is my fault. I didn't draft him in my fantasy team, but Vicario topping the chart statistically in fantasy and in reality. So that's quite nice. Just want to always show some love to the new man behind the sticks. And look, I didn't really think we'd find a Hugo successor so quick. And he has really won the entire fan base over very, very quickly. Whether you loved him when you signed him because you were an Empoli fan, or you're like me who never heard of him and was just like, whatever, prove something to me, and then he did. Or you were a doubter and said, he looks shaky, I think he's this, I think he's that. And then he proved you wrong as well. The way I see it, who cares? The man's a fucking stud, and I love him. I think his banter's great. His social presence is fantastic, and that's all just the whipped cream and cherry on top of everything else. But big up Paul Brown in the house as well. Big up Paul Brown. How you doing? Is there anything you want to say on Vicario before I continue?
Yeah, I really want to know someday or in the fullness of time, because he's been he's come out with some good quotes about, like, he would have signed in blood to play for Tottenham. He's dressing his little dog up in Tottenham stuff. And I'm dying to know, what is it about Tottenham that really drew you in, man? You know, was it the history of the club, or was it Ange Postecoglou, or the stadium, or, you know, what was it? But I love him. I think he's fantastic. Brilliant keeper. Best in the league at the moment. Easy.
What's crazy is when I remember we announced the signing, I was like, Googly Elmo Vicario. Who the hell is this guy? And now it's just, anytime I see him, I love you. That's just what it is. I love the guy. Long may it continue. Look, the guy he's topping, Alisson Becker, is who they say is the best goalkeeper in the league. Some say in the world. And statistically, he's beating him right now. So yeah,
I can't see Raya or Ramsdale or any of the other 50 goalkeepers that Arteta's got there. Is there a typo there? Not there? Not there?
Nope. No, they're not even on there. Not even considered. But look, that goalkeeper we played last week, Sam Johnstone, he's up there. But it's just Palace, they say. It's just Palace.
Oh, it's only Palace, man.
It's only Palace. I love this from Squawka. Says Mickey Van de Veen has been the second highest true tackle success in the Premier League this season. 5+ tackles attempted. There's only one player who has more success. True tackle. I don't know what true tackle success even fucking means. But there's one person who has 100%, and it's not Mickey Van de Veen. But Mickey Van de Veen rules the loot, in my opinion. So he's got a 94.4 success, 18 tackles attempted, 17 tackles made. Basically, when he goes to tackle you, he fucking tackles you. And that's
you're done. It's game over.
So there you go. From Squawka. Shout out Squawka. Oh, also, here you go.
Oh, I remember him.
On this day in 2021, we appointed Antonio Conte as our manager. Isn't that nice? There he is. There he is. On this day. How sweet is that? Well, you know what?
It would be a miracle. It's a miracle for this club to get top 4. Miracle.
You can change the manager. The situation, it will not change. This, you can trust me.
And then he leaves. Thank you. Hey.
Well, we changed the manager and we're doing all right, aren't we?
Honestly, him and I were friends. He did one time, he liked a comment of mine on Instagram. So I felt a pretty close connection to him because of that. And if I told Ange, would you like my comment on Instagram? He'd be like, fuck you talking about, mate? And so...
Internet? What's the internet?
What's an Instagram? Like, who knows? Big up Hasper. Says I said I would judge after 10 games, and I was a massive skeptic at the start. I wasn't confident with him at goal, but after Palace, I'm convinced. He looks a lot more confident with not just shot stopping. Well,
Nice
I guess
one.
it took. Hey, it doesn't matter how long it takes, but eventually greatness will win you over, I think. And hey, it took me after Brentford. I was like, yeah, I'm good. I like him.
Yeah,
I'm
me
good.
too.
Because in the preseason, he was answering a lot of the questions I had. And honestly, the bar was in the fucking gutter because I had just watched our captain playing volleyball versus Arsenal. So to me, it was just, I have ball. Let me just
Whoop, 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 whoop.
throw that in the back of the net. But big up Hasper. Glad he won you over. Vicario.
You know what? I'll say this about Hugo though. Like he's gone from captain and first choice keeper down to third, maybe fourth, and you're not hearing any disruption, anything out of the guy, you know. And Vicario has also said that Hugo's been a great help for him. So, you know, Hugo's doing all right at the moment, I reckon.
There's also no videos of Hugo coming into the training ground being like, you don't have to take a shot at me, guys. I know you're not going to use it.
Because I'm not playing. I don't know if I'm in this team, apparently.
Oh, God.
What a cock. Fuck that guy. Fuck.
Big up Nick De La Torre as well. Says Memo
And I
Vicario.
bet maybe they ran those clip past Ange and he says, put that fucking one in, little cunt.
I would doubt, as much as he greenlights everything, I would doubt he's in the media department like, cut this one up for me, mate. Show me what that looks like. Yeah.
But you know what would be nice, and this, you know, I think this is pie in the sky, dreamland, man. But I'm a dreamer. Fuck it. You say if like when we've got maybe 2 or 3 games left in the season and we can't be caught for wherever we are in the league, you know, whether it's first, second, third, wherever it is. I think it'd be kind of nice to bring Hugo on for 10 minutes just to let the fans, give the fans a chance to say, you know, goodbye to the guy, because that hasn't happened.
I already said goodbye. I think it's happened. But that's just me.
Oh, okay.
I'm not one of those.
I'm very generous when we're good, man.
As much as you shit on me for Disney movies, that was a Disney movie ending that you want to see for this guy. But yet you're over here like, oh, so Disney and so da-da-da. But you're over here,
I would like to see a beautiful send-off between the lad and the fans. They can all love each other one good time before it's all over. Like, no.
And all of nature comes along. All of nature, all the birdies.
When he quit on us at halftime versus Newcastle, when we were down bad, that's what I remember.
Oh, yeah, fuck that guy. I forgot about that, man.
Oh, my back.
So I'm very generous of spirit when we're doing well. Like, you know, at the beginning of the season, I was thinking, oh, fuck Harry Kane. I hope Bayern don't win anything. But now we're sitting on top of the tree. I'm thinking, good luck to you, Harry. I hope you win something with Bayern. Good. Well done, man. But if we lose a few games,
he got knocked out of a journey.
Yeah.
So now the only 2 chances he has to win a trophy this year is Bundesliga and Champions League. I don't see them winning Champions League, but maybe. Hey, I don't know. Who am I to say what they can and can't do? But Bundesliga, they surely, but don't call me Shirley, should win that. Where are they at in the table? Last I saw, they were
top.
third.
Yeah, no.
I'll look right now. Hang on. I will look right now. Bayern Munich, right now, in the Bundesliga table, are second. 2 points behind Leverkusen.
Right.
Come on, Leverkusen. How funny would that be? Like Jay was saying,
it would be funny.
Show, if there's a script writer, if football is scripted, this is how it's scripted. Kane leaves and we win a fucking trophy, and Kane going to the Farmers League of all leagues to farm a trophy, and he can't even do it. I mean, I'm not saying it's written in the stars, but it may be written in the gutters.
I think Bayern have won 11 in a row or something ridiculous, or 19 out of the last 20, and then.
I mean, you couldn't have written it any better myself. The next little bit of business I have is from Paulo Queef. Says, Destiny Udogi's injury problem is ankle ligaments. Recovery time is normally 2 weeks for minor issues. Destiny is currently 8 days in, so 6 more days in the recovery process for this ankle ligament issue. But there was a comment here. We were told it was muscle fatigue. What's going on with Destiny Ugodi?
I'm no medical expert, but I would say, I thought Ange said, in the press conference, didn't he say Destiny was okay, or did I get that wrong?
Yeah, he said he's okay, but I don't think that he said that he trained with the squad yet.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
That he's like recovering, but he hasn't trained
Well,
yet. So
it doesn't. Either way, it doesn't sound like a major. It just sounds like a run-of-the-mill injury that footballers get. It's not going to be months or anything like that. So, so I hope they rest him up and get him fully fit. If he doesn't play against Chelsea, I'd rather him rest and get well instead of chance it.
Fair. I kind of agree there. David O'Loughlin says, fantastic entertainment, boys. Will you both boo Poch? I did miss your comment earlier. You asked my stance on it. For me is, I'll start it off by saying it nice. I'll start nice, and then I'll end with some truth, and my truth anyway, which is thank you for the memories. We had a great time. I loved it. Thank you very much, sir. But when you walk into Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, what are you there to do? You're there to dismantle everything that we're building. You're there to get the points and give us that first loss on the season. You are there for all the reasons I don't like. Every reason I hate an opponent. So I'll put it this way, David O'Loughlin. Boo. Boo that motherfucker. He is the enemy. When he walks in, I want it to be as toxic of an atmosphere as possible. Now, when the game ends, after we stomped their ass.
Thanks for the memories, Poch. Thanks for the 3 points, Poch.
There was a little bit of that sadness, right? Because whenever he left, it was in the middle of COVID, so he actually couldn't leave a message for people, I think is what it. Wait, wasn't it? Or was that Pochettino? I'm getting my managers mixed up. I think it was Pochettino. I don't know. Maybe it was Mourinho. But will I boo Poch? I'm not going to be there personally, but if I was there, I would, because I would treat him like every other oppositional manager. And I said this at the beginning of the show, but I'll just repeat it again because we're over 2 hours in. I don't expect you to go dig it and find it out. But David O'Loughlin, for me, I think whatever kind of a fan you are, you should continue to be, regardless of Pochettino and it being him that comes to the stadium. Because if you're the kind of guy who you see fucking Roy Hodgson, Sam Allardyce, Sean Dyche walk in, you see these guys, however you treat them is how I would hope you still keep the same energy for the next guy. But maybe a little bit nastier because it is Chelsea. They are a London rival. So for me, I'm the kind of guy who I would boo whoever it is, regardless. So if it's Pochettino, you're getting booed by me. Look, there's no right or wrong way to do this, in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think there's a right and wrong about it. People can do whatever they want, express what they want.
Yeah, if you want to boom, boom. If you don't, don't. But don't be upset with someone for voicing their opinions, is what I would say, because that's just me. Some people are like, you can't boo him. That's disrespectful to his legacy. Disrespectful to his legacy.
Who the fuck are you?
Yeah.
Who the fuck are you to tell me what the fuck to do? Go fuck yourself.
I'm clipping that. Hang on, one more time.
Who the fuck are you to tell me what I can and can't do? Go fuck yourself.
Fucking beautiful. I'm going to clip that, and I'm just going to have that as one of my video clips. I like to have video clips like this.
I'm here to tell you right now, we don't care. Let me tell you, we don't care.
Yeah, so I'm going to add that to the rotation. Who are you to tell me how to feel? Go fuck yourself.
Yeah, Jacob, Jacob, go and learn Spanish.
Go fuck yourself.
I'm learning German.
Yeah, that's the kind of life I live. Yeah, my mom said, learn Spanish, you'll use it. And now I live in a Spanish-speaking city, and I would use it every single day. But no, I took German in high school because she told me what to do, so that's not fun.
Brilliant, man.
Big up J. Co. in the house. Derek Smith says muscle fatigue can indirectly affect the stability of the ankle joint and risk of ligament injuries. So I guess, Derek Smith, you are right in the roundabout way, I guess, that
I think Derek almost taking a holistic approach to medicine there. So it makes sense to me.
It sounds like a yogi approach. You know, in yoga they say, you know, if you stretch this muscle, it will loosen up all muscles because it's all attached to the same thing, is what they say. So you are right.
If you scratch your ear, your cock will fall off, something like that, is it?
Never heard that one, and I scratch my ears a lot. So
that explains it.
Yeah. Deshaun Skyers says Unk Wilden. Big up Deshaun Skyers. First time I've ever seen this name here, and they say Unk Wilden. But David O'Loughlin says I'll be there, and I think I'll be indifferent to Potch. I will not boo. David, look, again, you don't even have to listen to me and keep the energy, because I'm saying for me, I'm keeping my energy how I would for any opposition's manager. For any Chelsea manager, I fucking hated Tuchel. I would punch him in the face. I hated him so much, and that's because he was Chelsea's manager and he won fucking Champions League with them. So of course I hate the guy. But like Pochettino, I don't hate him because he went to Chelsea, because he's at Spurs. I hate him because he's Chelsea's manager. Does that make sense? Did I articulate that well? Because I don't want people to say, "Oh, Jacob's disregarding Pochettino's legacy and all the things that he achieved." And it's funny because when anyone talks about things that he's achieved, I say, "Show me." Yeah.
Nothing.
Petro says, "Hippie with the quip of the week." Hey, he's here. I love it. Go subscribe to the Hotspur Hippie right now. Derek Smith says, I'm strictly trust the science and I leave it to real doctors. So not a holistic approach, but still sounds like a slightly a yogi approach, if I may. The last little bit that I have to talk about was Ange Postecoglou speaking on Papa Matessar, also known on this channel as I Papi Chulo Matessar, known worldwide as Sarsar Toure.
The Matasaurus.
Matasaurus Rex, that's another good one as well. That's a great one. Ange Postecoglou on whether Papa Matessar will become more of a 6, 8, or a 10. He says the good thing is that he can play.
The start of this, I love what he said straight away. Come on, just hit me with it, Jacob.
He says the good thing is he can play all three at once.
Yes, yes.
With Papa, when you consider his age, it is just his ability to embrace the challenge of playing in a midfield role, and particularly for us, it is quite multifunctional. I love that he fucking said this, Paul, because I've been saying Basuma's not a. Everyone's like, oh, Basuma's a 6, and he's playing. He's an 8, and he's playing this. Look, those two midfielders, even James Maddison is doing things that 10 isn't specifically supposed to do, dropping into our own box like Harry Kane, picking up the ball and spraying it out. That's not a typical 10's duty, but he does it. And I love that he said this because it just reiterates the things that I've been saying, which is the midfield role is particularly quite multifunctional. You're not just a 6 or an 8 or 10. You got to be all three. And at times, Basuma operates as a 10, a 6, and an 8. At times, Papa Matessar pops into the box like he's a second striker. That's the role of a 10, if I'm not mistaken. So when we
when people talk about 6, 8s, and 10s, I really don't know what the fuck they're talking about. I am using a human voice. I put players into a box. You are a number 6.
Dude, I forgot that I answered a question from answered the phone live on air from the fucking AI. Isn't that? That's what I'm saying. You never know what you're going to get out of United Spurs America. Hit that like, hit that subscribe. There's over 110 likes here. Appreciate everybody smashing up that like for me.
The essence of that question, I think, is because I've heard when journalists, they try and ask Ange like a clever question, like, "Oh yeah, this is how much I know about football." Is Sarah a 6, 8, or a 10? And Ange is going, he's a fucking footballer. What the fuck are you on about?
That's what I'm saying. He just he could play all three of whatever you want to say. He could play that. He's multifunctional. He goes on to say, quote, he has the capacity and great strength to run and provide energy in all areas. Having him there helps because sometimes he is a 6, sometimes he is an 8 or a 10 or a fullback, and he does that with ease. But it does require energy and strong work ethic. So with this question and the way that he answered it, and this is the last thing I want to talk about here before we end off and say our goodbyes, is does Bentancur automatically slot into this team, or is it now a question of maybe he's better off the bench, because if Sarr is this multifunctional 6, 8, and 10 per Postecoglou, I'm supposed to believe who can come in and do a 3-headed monster role like that. He even threw in a 4th one. He sometimes plays fullback as well. I just worry now that maybe everyone's so sure that, when we get Bentancur back, we're going to be this, and this. I don't know. I mean, depth is the key here, but what do you think, Paul?
I think it's great. It's great to have options. And look, I'm an idiot. I don't know what I'm talking about. If Bentancur was to come straight back in, or let's say he does at some stage, I think he'd be swapped for Basuma instead of Sarr. I think he's more that kind of player. Sarr is very useful as an engine running around the field. That's what I reckon. I think Sarr is. I don't know. I think Sarr, for what he does, is very, very useful to have in the team at all times. But I don't. It's a brilliant problem to have. We've now got 4 top quality midfielders plus Pierre, so you could say 5 because he's great to come in and see a game out. 5 for 3 positions, great place to be.
I love it, and honestly, for me, that's the same thing. It's just a great problem to have, something we've not had. And I love Pablo Matasar, and I'm really glad we didn't loan him out, because some people were saying maybe we should loan him out, but
no, I was definitely not. When I saw him, was it last January? He made an appearance. I just thought this kid is brilliant, and I was amazed he didn't get more game time last year. Well, we went skipping Højbjerg instead of Sarr and Højbjerg, so I'm really happy that he's stuck it out, and he's got lots of game time now. He's nominated for African Player of the Year along with Basuma. I mean, fucking hell, not bad.
Gotta be doing something fucking right.
Oh yeah, tasty.
Well, that's gonna do it here for us. That's all that I've got. That's all that I can do. We're almost at 2.5 hours. It's been a fucking blockbuster hit of a stream here, Paul. So thank you so much, everyone. I want you right now to go and click the blue words in the title of this video, Hotspur Hippie. Go over there, like and subscribe. And if you comment, he won't reply. So isn't that kind of fun? So get on over there and subscribe to my man Paul. My favorite man from down under. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll. And right now, 42% says we're going to win both of the awards, Paul. And then in second place says Salah will win it, but then Ange will also win it. So Ange is getting the 3-peat regardless, what it sounds like, per the chat. So big up everyone who voted in the chat. Big up 117 likes, everyone who hit the like. I will be redirecting on over to This Is Football. So say Hussam, you're in the mud, Spurs on your mind. That's all you got to say to him. He's always thinking about Tottenham Hotspur. Let's just remember that. Big up Drula says, big up my niece Drula. She says, big up Uncle Jacob Paul in chat. Hope you've had an immaculate birthday yesterday. Sorry I missed you. Had visitors around. I'll watch back. Big up Drula. It's been a fucking long ass stream, but a beautiful one. Hope you enjoy it. Thank you for being here, my niece. I think one time it auto corrected and she said, big up Uncle Jacob. And so since then, I'm just kind of running with it. Derek Smith has given us 5 stars, so I do appreciate that. Archibald says, this is the beauty of an Ange and his system. How does the opposition mark someone who could literally be anywhere?
That's it. That is it. It's confusing for them. It's brilliant. Yeah. Well, Danny Blanchflower said, because he was asked, how are you going to set up? What's your tactics for this game? And he said, well, if we don't know what we're going to do, what hope has the other team got?
Hey, I love it. One of my favorite things you've ever said here was, you know what? Whenever I was like, are you concerned? We're showing holes and we're showing openings to conceding goals. And like, if it's a better team, they're going to finish their dinner. You're like, well, yeah, that may be true. But at the end of the day, if they score 4 and you score 5, doesn't really matter, does it?
3 points.
That's 3 points. And that's going to do it here for episode 85 of the Untitled series. I appreciate everyone who has tuned in live or on playback. Big up yourself right now. Again, I am redirecting over to This Is Football. He's got a show over there. You don't even have to say anything. Just go over there and give him shit if you want. If you're a Spurs fan, he's thinking of you. Just know that. But until next time, folks, I hope to see you here tomorrow. We will have some more previews we're going to do predicted lineups and score predictions and formation predictions and philosophy ideas and etc. But yes, keep it locked at United Spurs of America. Fuck the duck. Hit the like. Get us up so we can get rid of the duck. That's what we got to do.
Fuck the duck.
Fuck the duck, man. But as always, folks, stay fresh. Wait, Paul, do you have any final words before I sign off?
No, I'm cool, man. Thanks for having me on. It's been a lot of fun, dude. A lot of fun. Happy birthday for yesterday.
Love it, man. I appreciate it. You did send me a beautiful
And
video
fuck
as well
that
from-
duck.
And fuck that duck. Get the likes up so we can fuck that duck. Fuck that duck. Stay fresh. Stay blessed. Up the lads. And come on, you Spurs, and fuck that duck. Course.
United Spurs of America with your hosts, Michael and Jacob.